Okay, back here again to look at some more Nintendo Powers. Having quite a fun time looking at these. So I don't know. I'll probably do this for a little bit. So I want to get through at least 2 issues tonight. This is issue number 25, volume 25. This is from June of 1991. So if you recall the other issues, they were talking about Battletoads for the past 3 issues. So Battletoads is the actual cover feature here now this time. Battletoads Croaker Capers. You have NES Open Tournament Golf, or NES Open Tournament Golf, Win a Golf Cart, Game Boy, Hunt for Red October Games. So you see the Battletoads are on the cover. I always thought that was kind of weird artwork for them. You have one of the enemies as flying guys. Pig-like guys. So, yeah, they were really covering Battletoads fairly well in the past 3 issues, really hyping it up. Howard Phillips was over in Europe touring some European developers for the past magazines. He was over at Rare, and I think he got a hold of some good stuff for Battletoads, so that's why it was in here probably. I still have that same new, it's a new front ad for Nintendo Power in the hint line. You see it's still, I think, $15 US for 12 issues for a year's subscription. There's Howard Phillips, famous bow tie and all. This month we bid farewell to Game Master Howard Phillips, who is leaving Nintendo of America Inc. to take a new position as executive producer of video games and learning products at Lucasfilm Games. Howard has lots of fans here and elsewhere in the world of video games, and we at Nintendo will miss him and his signature bow tie. Lucasfilms is one of our licensees, though, so now we'll have the inside track on Lucasfilm Games. Good luck, Howard. So yeah, Howard Phillips left at this time, June 1991 issue. In the past, Howard kept you up to date on what's going on in Nintendo Power. Now we'll have an opportunity to introduce some of the other people who are involved behind the scenes here in upcoming issues. You'll hear from, hold on one second. You'll hear from, I want to make sure my mic's working. And it's working, okay. You'll hear from editors, writers, designers, and others who have stories to tell about Nintendo Power and Nintendo products. There's no need for all of you Howard and Nestor fans to worry. Nestor isn't going anywhere. It's the beginning of a new era for him, though, and he'll be back for a new adventure in his monthly strip. As you know, Howard often bailed him out of the messes he's got into. Who knows what kind of trouble he can get into when he flies solo. And they're talking about Battletoads. Don't miss our special report on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So there's a big report on the SNES this issue. You recall last month they revealed the look of the system, and it was going to be called the Super Nintendo NES. Complete with pictures of the system, hardware, the Super NES will be officially announced at the Summer Consumer Electronics Show this month, but we wanted to give you readers an advanced look at its incredible components, and you think they look great. And if you think they look great, wait until you see them in action. You'll still have time to get in on the Nintendo Player's Guide program. Don't forget to respond by July 15th. Here's the table of contents. So look at some games that are in it. And page 44 is the Super NES introduction. That's first real detailed information Nintendo Power went for the Super NES. Some late NES games, Daydreaming Davy, NES Open Tournament Golf, which I don't recall, was that late? This is June 1991. Battletoads, of course. We have some mail here. My cat Millie is not one for games, but that's only if you don't count Nintendo games. When she hears the TV go on, she comes running like a bolt of lightning. Some of her favorite characters are Mario, who she likes to watch jump up and down on the screen, and Mega Man, who she also likes to watch jump up and down on the screen. Currently, I'm trying to teach her how to use the power pad, but for now she'll just prefers to sleep on it. If you lay my NES Advantage on the ground, she will come over and lie down on top of it. So far she has reached level 2 of Willow. Wow, pretty good, kitty. I couldn't enclose a picture of her playing since she was sleeping last time I checked. Ben Sherman, Sudbury, Massachusetts. Pee-wee's versus Space Aliens. I am 57 years old, okay, and I play all of your adventure games. I have 16 cats, wow, and they all love to play along with me. But there is one kitty who, since I started playing Star Tropics, insists on helping me. I can tell you that I have had to start over umpteen times because of her help. Her name is Pee-wee, and she loves the bowling ball in Star Tropics. People may think that the NES is just for kids, but I believe that it's for senior citizens and animals too. Well, definitely for senior citizens. I think that's pretty awesome that she's 57. No, though not really a senior nowadays. You think 57 is not really that old. Back when I was a kid, when I was 11 when this issue came out, 57 looked ancient to me. But now looking at it now, 57 is only, what, 42, 52, that's only 15 years away. So, yeah. And here's a picture of her cat. This is from Carol Peterson, Troutdale, Oregon. You see her picture of her kitty there. She's playing Star Tropics. There's an item you get in Star Tropics, like a ball. You only get it once, that I recall. Looks like Pee-wee has been invaded by the Star Tropics aliens. Look at those eyes. And here's another letter. Screen Smearing Spaniel. So there's another. I guess this is all about pets. So there's a picture of the spaniel, Cocker Spaniel. I've recently discovered that my new puppy, Bogey, has shown a liking of Mega Man 3. Good dog. And Tetris. Whenever a lot of fast music plays or a loud sound in a game occurs, he jumps up and gets real close to the screen. Sometimes he even licks it. I have discovered that he likes to have his pink and white blanket when I play. I've enclosed a picture of him getting ready for me to play. And there's Pinky, if you can see him down there. That's from Scott McDonald, Lake Oswego, Oregon. Excuse me. Wanted Mario. Our kitten started playing at a young age. As soon as he could jump on one of the tables, he's been watching and hoping he could nab Mario on one of these days. Of all the games we have, Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3 are his kind of action. We are in our 70s, once again older people playing, and yet can talk with all the kids who are neighbors. We find your games a lot of fun, and they keep us young. Mr. and Mrs. Wally Swanson, Glendora, California. And here's a picture of the kitty. What's his name? What was his name? I forget his name, but she didn't give a name. And he's watching the Super Mario there. Many readers named their pets after Nintendo characters. Some of them include Weird Ed, the hamster, Samus, the goldfish, Nestor, the toad, and Scrooge, the duck. Koopa gets an upper hand. I've got a bird named Koopa. I named him that because I really like Super Mario Bros. 3, and also because he is just as mean to people as Koopa is to Mario, Luigi, and Princess Toadstool. Jackie Wall, Lincoln Park, New Jersey. And there's a picture of Koopa on Jackie's head. Great picture, Jackie. It looks like Koopa's got the head stomping trick down pretty well. Now see if you can train him to shoot fireballs. Here's Turtle Talk. I've had my turtle for a year, but I really haven't named it. Everyone calls it something different. Every time I would play Nintendo games in front of my turtle, she would come out of her shell and watch. I finally decided to call her Wendy O. Koopa, after the Koopa Kid. Nicholas Corvino, Media PA. And here's some art letters here. The kids sending in, looks like Super Mario Brothers 3. You have some Zelda 1 artwork with that classic Link pose in the squat position with his shield with the cross on it. Super Mario Brothers there, Mario and Luigi. There's Mega Man. Looks like a Game Boy. Some Super Mario Land, Mario in a jet in that plane in the shoot 'em up stages. So some good letters this month. Nothing too poke fun of this month. Pretty good letters with some pets. And here's the cover issue story of Battletoads. This is it. We've been psyched about the Battletoads since we first heard about them. Now that Rare and Trade West are ready to cut loose with Battletoads, only Nintendo Power will give you the complete maps and give you Toad tactics to take you to the Dark Queen's Tower and beyond. So they're going to give you lots of maps here to help you with the game. But the maps, they're neat to look at, but this game is when you just have to play and play and play until you memorize. It's a game of memorization. Lots of different kinds of play and stages, but really relies on memorization more than anything. There's a little story about it. I won't read the story. It's not too tough. Basically, Dark Queen kidnaps one of the toads, I think. Actually, I'll read a little bit. Aboard the SSS Vulture, the Battletoads and Professor T-Bird are halfway through the 4 light years voyage to take to Terran Princess Angelica back to her home planet to break the monotony only of the long journey. Angelica and Pimple take a joyride in the Toadster, but before they know it, what hit them, the Dark Queen's flagship Gargantua swallows them up. So then you're after to basically beat the Dark Queen and get Pimple and Princess Angelica back. Angelica. You have little map screens before the levels. You have a 2-toad mode. You can play 2-player co-op. I've never done that, though. My experience with Battletoads is much like every kid. I never had it. I think I was playing Super Nintendo when I rented it once, or played it once. I got to the Turbo Tunnel, got pretty far, but I could never beat the Turbo Tunnel. And I had to return it. Ragnarok Canyon. Impact Crater. A cool effect of just going down here and you could turn into like a wrecking ball. If you hug the side, you can swing back and forth. I thought that was pretty cool. So the first level is a beat 'em up. And then after that, there's not many beat 'em up sections. There's a little beat 'em up part in this one. Once you get to the bottom. But then you're on the bikes, and most of the other stages have different gimmicks in them you have to master to beat the game, with little bits of beat 'em ups in between. But the first stage is a straight up beat 'em up. Here's the second Battletoads comic we have. I think last month was the first one of that. Ice Cavern. So they are mapping out each thing with little highlights of what to look for, how to get through it. Surf City. Big Blarg. It's the boss at the end. Snake Pit. Here's some more of the Toad Comet. You see they're in the Snake Pit area. Fire Zone. Elevator Shaft. Still doing awesome artwork in Nintendo Power. These are all hand-drawn art. The magazine layout of Nintendo Power was just very much candy for kids. Laid out just like kids liked. At least I found it appealing. I still find it kind of appealing. I don't know who that guy's supposed to be. So you see they have a little bit of comic part of... They talk about the level and then they have a little comic bit about it. They're really pushing Battletoads pretty hard. A little bit with the Dark Queen. There's a tower you climb, the last level. What's next for Battletoads? Until then, stay bad and crazy. It's a little too early to tell how successful the Battletoads will be, both in their missions and in their popularity, but they have some big plans. A possible NES sequel, a Super NES game, and the arcade game are just a few of the things in the works. With a variety of gameplays, tasks, and the Super Challenge level in their first game, the Battletoads are sure to continue breaking new video game ground. I did have a recent game I haven't played. It came out maybe a year ago, or early this year, for Xbox, which I heard it was decent, but I haven't played it. And here we go. This is it. This is the first major coverage. The previous 4 issues or so, they've been teasing the Super NES. Last issue they showed off this classic redesign. I like this redesign with the purple. Now they're going in depth with it. So as a kid, this was my first real in-depth look at the Super NES, or Super Nintendo. I'll try to read this. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System is on the way to US stores this fall, and it is worth the wait. What can you expect from this new 16-bit machine? How hot is it? This article will answer some of your questions, but others can't be answered until you actually see, hear, and play the Super NES in person. For example, static photographs cannot reveal the impression of depth that is given by multiple scrolling backgrounds. They say that seeing is believing, and with the Super NES, that old adage holds very true. The brain of the Super NES was designed in Japan and Nintendo Company Limited. The idea was to make a system that allows more realistic games and greater player involvement. That means the system would have to handle ultra-sophisticated graphics and sound. The task fell to the 16-bit Central Processing Unit (CPU), which contains 128K of RAM and 64K of video RAM for faster processing of game and graphic data. There's an additional 8-bit APU, or audio processing unit, to handle the digital CD quality sound. The Japanese version of the Super NES, called the Super Famicom, has been out for almost a year now. The US version is very similar to its Japanese counterpart, but there are some important changes and improvements. Lance Bard began designing the exterior housing of the Super NES in July of 1990, so about a year he's been designing it. Nintendo's Redmond, Washington headquarters, at the time Lance was given free rein to try new ideas. I was working on blue designs, he said. With video game systems, there really aren't any expectations yet to what they should look like. So design considerations are pretty open. Most people are more concerned with the software that's available for the system. But he did have one direction from the brass at Nintendo of America. They wanted a product that didn't look like a toy, Lance explained. The reason for that is that the insides of the Super NES are anything but toyish. The sleek and sophisticated exterior had to fit the image of the complex 16-bit computer inside. One of the aspects of the design that isn't always apparent is what Lance calls design semantics. The idea is that an object or feature should visually represent its function or give some clue to as its use or importance. For instance, from early age, people learn that sharp objects are dangerous to touch, whereas rounded objects are considerably safe and inviting to touch. With that in mind, Lance designed the top loading bay in the Super NES with a classical curving. I did like that curving. On the top there, he's talking about that. Where the cartridge goes in, it's like curved, it's not flat. And they're talking about the Super NES controllers are curved to fit comfortably in your hands while giving you a good accessibility to the buttons, including 4 new buttons, the X, Y, and the left and right buttons on the sides of the controller. The B, A, select, start, and cross controller are the same as on the original NES. Here you see some different designs that were Lance Barr had originally. Some of Lance's early designs would require a much different into printed circuit board in radically altered game packs. The super thin line version gave way to the necessity of having a top loading and unload game packs. Also, top loading game pack later crank versions with a crank lever mechanism to load and unload game packs also rejected. We wanted something that was simple to use, Lance explained. Lines indicated that here is an area with which you can act. There was a second consideration for making the curved loading bay. People don't place glasses of soda or bowls of cereal on curved surfaces. Spills are one of the chief service problems for the NES. For the same reason, Lance put the ventilator grill on the back of the Super NES rather than on the top. He also made the bottom of the unit flat so that it can be stacked with other components, for instance the CD-ROM unit currently being developed jointly by Nintendo and Sony. There's another foresight right there. So pretty early they're talking about that Sony-Nintendo partnership for this PlayStation. Even the controllers were improved from the Japanese version. One of the problems people have found with the Japanese controller is that they can't differentiate between the 4 control buttons. Although the Super Famicom buttons were color-coded, Lance noted that few people took the time to look down at the controller while playing games. The sense of touch was more important than that. He changed the rounded shape of the X and Y buttons to a hollow-shaped disc like the buttons on the original NES controller. Attention to detail like this pay off for the player. So we're talking about the curved X and Y buttons. That's one thing I like about the North American Super Nintendo. Has convex and concave buttons so you can tell them apart. The Super NES controller buttons were redesigned so that you can tell them apart by the sense of touch. Along that means you don't have to take your eyes off the action for a second. Yeah, and I love the purple and gray design. I think that's beautiful. Hey Richard, how's it going today? Good to see ya. Which of these designs looks best to you? Of these 3? I kind of like this top one here. This one looks like the NES 2 top loader we had. I like this one. Super Graph. How are you doing, Richard? Super graphics. Although graphics aren't the only consideration when comparing games to game systems, they are the most glamorous aspect of the video games. Video game graphics fire the imagination and allow you to roam alternate universes. The top one is your favorite too. This one here? Yeah, I like that one. This one looks a little too busy. This one looks like, this one's okay. And this one's pretty cool. The first and most obvious aspect of graphics is resolution. Resolution is determined by the number of pixels that can appear on the screen at one time. A greater number of pixels translates into a higher resolution. In the case of the Super NES, the resolution is a very impressive 512 by 448. That's almost twice the resolution of most other 16-bit systems. In addition to the Super NES can be connected to RGB monitors or Super VHS TVs using special cables for the best possible pictures. Pixels are the building blocks of images because each can be a different color. A larger color palette almost allows more variety for shading and toning images, and that means more realistic and detailed game images. With 32,768 colors to choose from, the Super NES reproduces more colors than most people can distinguish. Actually, this system can do even more impressive stunts with color, such as color layering, which allows objects to appear ghost-like while moving across a multicolored background. So here's the first picture of ActRaiser. Really got me wanting this game once I found out that was from ActRaiser. It's not enough anymore. It might have been a later picture when they started covering X-Play and ActRaiser in another magazine, but they showed lots of pictures similar to that. Like, these graphics were mind-blowing to me. Like, look at the big sprites. It's just amazing. It's not enough anymore just to have a sharp image appear on the screen. To be interactive, an image must appear to behave in whatever manner makes sense to its context. For instance, a car racing away from you must shrink. This is called scaling. The Super NES is able to zoom in and out on objects, allowing such intensity. Real activities as the skydiving sequence in Pilotwings, movement against backgrounds is standard for almost all video games, but the Super NES handles 4 backgrounds, all scrolling at different. That's ripped there. I can't. Different speeds. The result is a real feeling of depth, especially when one or more of the backgrounds are used as foregrounds. Seemingly placing your character in the middle distance, rotating objects and backgrounds are other impressive graphical features of the Super NES. Not only can you scan 360 degrees of horizon in games like Pilotwings, you can also look down at the ground while turning a complete circle. Of course, while you're turning, the scaling feature also increases the size of everything below you. It's important to remember that these features can all come into play simultaneously. I work with 3D images. Sometimes I learned their pixels are called voxels. And I was angry there was no 1D version of a picture. I would name it a lixel. A lixel? A lixel. A voxel, huh? I've heard the term voxels before. I've never heard them referred to as pixels before. So when you say you work with 3D images, is that for your schooling? For your masters? Here's a picture of Final Fight. You see he's throwing an Andorra. There's 2 of them here. Last, but certainly not least, are the moving objects of sprites on the Super NES. You may find as many as 128 moving objects on the screen at one time. Super NES sprites can be composed of 128 by 128 characters. In comparison, Super Mario for the NES is 8 by 8. So from 8x8 sprites to 128 by 128. So that's quite a bit of difference. Is that 16 times more? I don't know how many times more that is. Like the 16-bit, 16 times? I don't know. What's 16 times 8? Is that 128? We're taking characters. We're talking big bosses here. Okay, now they're talking about sound. Yeah, tomography images, side projects not related to my studies. I think the white-orange SNES model looks like a suitcase. The white and orange one. This one here? Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, I could see that. It almost reminds me of the top loader for NES. The NES2 or whatever, the top loader. Only not as curvy. Like, there's no cartridge slot in it. No buttons on the front. Yeah, this one, like, you put a handle on, it's a suitcase. This one kind of looks like the design they actually... It looks like they took this design and chopped off that thing on the left. And they just went with that one. Video game sound has lagged behind graphics from the start. In large part, that has been due to the important limitations of earlier systems. No more with the Super NES. It can reproduce the same digital stereo signals used in CDs with all the tonality, all the richness that you would expect from a recording of your favorite musical group. This also means that actual voices can be reproduced. Real voices. Imagine a Batman game in which cinema scenes don't have subtitles, but the actual voice of Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. With the Super NES, that sort of realism is possible. The revolution in sound extends to sound effects as well. To appreciate the symphonic richness of the Super NES, you'll have to patch the AV cables through your stereo or stereo TV. And the future sounds even brighter. Already, Nintendo is planning to utilize Q-Sound, the synthesized surround sound system. The next issue will cover, another issue of the SNES, will cover the Super NES games for this radical new system. You're talking about patching the Super NES through to your home stereo system results in a new game playing experience called Awesome. Wish I could witness the current video game. Wish they could have witnessed the current video game. Yeah, like this is all new. Like games didn't have voice acting then. This was all new. This is 1991. This is July 1991. I think this was. Yeah. This was let me get my facts straight. This is June 1991. Here. So this is all new. Brand spanking new. As a kid, this was amazing seeing that system. I wanted it. I started planning how to get it. I think I did everything I could to come up with ways to get money. I saved everything whenever I could, which I didn't get an allowance back then. So it wasn't much, but I did have a birthday party and raised $200 to get it in November of that year. Went to Wars, picked up my SNES, still have the Wars sticker on it. And in fact, I have a video on my channel. If you search SNES 25th anniversary, that was 5 years ago, I go over some of my experiences with the Super Nintendo and games and such. I was a lot younger then, had more hair. I haven't watched it in a while, so I don't remember. I was thinking about doing a 30th anniversary one. Let's see, NES Open. I've never played NES Open. Golf game. More Game Boy games. The Hunt for Red October, Fortified Zone, Super RC Pro-Am. So yeah, I still have this Game Boy little section. Poor 1991 world. So full of Zelda 2. So, hey, Zelda 2 is pretty rad. Pokemon's rad too, but Pokemon would be here in about 7 years, Richard. Got a little ways to go. Little ways to go. You still have to be born here yet. The Hunt for Red October, based on the hit movie. Sean Connery right there. That's a bad Sean Connery, sorry. They mapped out this whole game, like a Hunt for Red October game. They mapped out all the levels for it. Like, that's pretty impressive. Take a look at those videos. You said it had more hair. Did you used to show up in your videos? Yeah, I used to point a camera and just show what I bought and stuff, what games I got. That's about it. Nothing too hard to produce or anything. Fortified Zone. I think this is based on a series of games. I forget what the series was, but I've never played this. I heard it's decent. It's like a top-down shooter. So Game Boy is getting some more, some good games. Pretty deep game. This is one I never played. I'd like to pick it up sometimes and give it a try. Super RC Pro-Am. I played RC Pro-Am. I had RC Pro-Am for the NES growing up. Very nostalgic game for me. I don't think I ever beat. I don't know if you can beat it or not, but I'd play it as a kid. Great music, sound effects, that game. But I never played Super RC Pro-Am. Eventually get to see Game Boy Metroid 2. You will. I don't know when it came out. I think it's already out, actually. We'll have to check the Game Boy Top 10 and see. It should be in the Top 10. I think it is out. So, RC Pro-Am and Super RC Pro-Am developed by Rare. You see there's a multi-tap. You could hook 3 other Game Boys to you and play. It came packaged with F1 Race. Which one do I think is better, Metroid or its sequel? Yeah, well, Metroid's more open-ended, I think. Super Metroid's more tailored to the Game Boy, where it kind of progresses you by a number of Metroids you gotta kill, then you can go down a little bit further. That's tough. I don't know. I like them both. That's a tough question. I'm gonna go. Which one would I rather play right now? Metroid 2, because I just finished Metroid. Which one's better? Probably the first one, but just by a little bit. And if I'm playing like Metroid, I say, yeah, I like this better than 2. If I'm playing 2, I say, yeah, I like this better than Metroid. It's hard to pick favorites for games for me. I change them often. Operation C, which is really good. Operation C is a fun Contra game. So some good Game Boy games are coming out. Mysterium, which I looked at the other day on an ad or something. It's like a first-person dungeon crawler. I've never heard of it. It looks pretty cool. Now playing at Bo Jackson, Hit and Run, Cyriad, Fortified Zone, Hunt for Red October, Lucky Monkey, Spud's Adventures, Super RC Pro-Am. The best one here rated is Super RC Pro-Am by far. It got amazing reviews. For graphics and sound, it got a 4.5. 4.0 for play control, challenge, and theme and fun. So top 10, Super Mario Land, TMNT, and Dr. Mario. Final Fantasy Legend, Tetris, Castlevania, Paperboy, Gargoyle's Quest still hanging in there. Fantastic game. Operation C is busting in there at number 8, and Alleyway. So no Super Metroid yet, or no Metroid 2 yet, Richard. I think we will see it in the coming issues, though. For sure. Howard and Esther. Also, you missed, Richard. Howard Phillips, the guy who was over in England checking out Rare and all the studios in England from the last issue, and reviewed a lot of games that we would eventually get, actually left. This is his last issue. He left Nintendo during this time. I do like Dr. Mario. I don't play it a lot, but I'll play it with my mom. My mom loves it. I had that game growing up. Daydreaming Davy. I've never played this. So they really, HAL America took a step back in time, that is. HAL America, did they develop this, huh? 11 action sequences take Davy from the Old West to medieval times and on back to ancient Greece. I just know this game from the Angry Video Game Nerd. I've never played it, though. I think you're a kid who falls asleep in school and goes to different time periods. I think it's a platformer, or with some top-down sections, I think. It looks more top-down than anything. This game kind of interests me. I'd like to try it out. Power Blade. You remember Power Blade from an issue or two back. Sound mode. That's a good mode because this game has really good sound. Mega Man 3. You had all kinds of enemy tables like Sparkman, Sparkshot, Shadow Man, Shadow Blade. I don't know what this means. Design your own passwords, I guess they're telling you how to. So they're telling you how to make a password using Mega Man 3's password system, how it works, which is kind of cool. Your mom liked Harvest Moon. Really? That's pretty cool. Well, that seems like a good mom game. Could see that. My mom liked Animal Crossing New Leaf a lot. And you remember Power Blade? Yeah. Power Blade's fun. Chase HQ. Did she play Harvest Moon on the Super Nintendo? Abadox, The Inner War. Classic tips. Super Mario Brothers 3. So this is 1991, and they're referring to a game that came out in 1990 as classic tips. Warp Whistles in Super Mario Brothers. Ducktales bonus stage. I never knew about that. There's a bonus stage in DuckTales. I never got that. You can get there by going back to Duckburg when talking to Launchpad when the 10,000 digit of your score is a 7, e.g. 71382. I never knew that. Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life on GameCube. Well, that's right, you mentioned you like the GameCube a lot. Super Spy Hunter, now playing. This game's fantastic. Fantastic game. Set your sights on a fleet of high-tech cars and robots, enemies, and super speed sequences of the NES and arcade. The Spy Hunter from Sunsoft, the desert, sky, water, and assorted futuristic roadways are all crawling with villainous vehicles, and it's your job to make the world safe again through 6 super stages. So your car can morph. It gets like these gun turrets. It changes with each upgrade you get. Here's a section with a plane. For most of the missions, your vehicle will take on the form of a custom car with the machine guns on the roof, on the front, and on the roof. When you take to the water or the skies, though, the car will change into a racing boat or an armored jet. Along the way, you can earn power-ups which give your vehicle special enemy stomping features like oil slicks and bombs. Enemy cars and planes are everywhere, and the roads are littered with jumps, gaping holes, and slippery ice. If you enjoy danger and thrills, this is one to look for. Yeah, great game. Feria, I've never played it. It's like a top-down Zelda RPG-ish kind of game. Latest releases: American Gladiators, Battletoads, Daydreaming Davy, Feria, NES Open, Tournament Golf, and Super Spy Hunter. The best one reviewed here was Battletoads. 4.4 for graphics, sound, 3.9, 4.5 for theme, fun. Super Spy Hunter, which I think got a bum rap. The graphics on this game are amazing. 3.5 is kind of low. 3.3 for play control. I don't know. These are a little low for Super Spy Hunter. That's a great game. There's a frightening Mario with a golf club. Players Pro NES Open Extravaganza. Faria is a common surname there in Brazil, huh? Interesting. It's a unique name, that's for sure. There's Howard Phillips showing off the Mario Nintendo Power shirt. He's no longer with Nintendo at this time. This is his last issue. So lots of people finishing Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Some people finishing Deja Vu, Little Nemo to Dream Master finishing, Maniac Mansion, lots of kids finishing, tons of people finishing Mega Man 3, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and Fall of the Foot Clan TMNT for Game Boy. People finishing Star Tropics. Counselor's Corner. Tips for Robocop 2. Dragon Warrior 2, kids needing... Where is the Princess of Moonbrook? And the Princess of Moonbrook is actually turned into a dog. You have to find the mirror in the swamp to the east. Show it to her and she'll turn into your last party member. How can I make sure that I win the lottery? That's it. I could have used that tip. They're just saying save and reset. That's all they're saying. Gameplay counselors. Here we go with our new gameplay counselors. We have one mullet here. Scott Evanson, hobbies, practicing Taekwondo, running, best NES accomplishment, scored 84 points in the Power Bowl of NES Play Action Football, favorite NES game, Solomon's Key. Bill Clark, hobbies, snowboarding, water skiing, best NES accomplishment, completed Gradius with 1 ship. Favorite NES game, Destiny of an Emperor, and Solomon's Key. So 2 Solomon's Key lovers here. Todd Westergreen. Hobbies, flying, skiing, jet skiing. Best NES accomplishment. Completed Blaster Master in 57 minutes. Wow, that is impressive. Favorite NES game, Blaster Master. I guess so, if you complete it in 57 minutes. Joe Conklin. Looks like an older gentleman. Hobbies, skiing and hunting. Best NES accomplishments. Scored 2 million points in Duck Hunt. Wow. Favorite NES game, Destiny of an Emperor. These counselors are becoming more and more 90s, you think? A little bit. That guy still has kind of a mullet. That guy's a little older. The Simpsons, Bart vs. the Space Mutants. Where can I find 1-ups early in the game? Just want a Quickie Mart, Mr. Novelty, Mel's Novelty Hut. Where do I use the whistle and the key? How do I use the rockets to my advantage? So they're telling, look at this. This whole part of Counselor's Corner is all Bart versus the Space Mutants because this game was so tricky to figure out without somebody telling you or a magazine to tell you. Here we go. Top 30, Volume 25, June 1991. What is in store for the NES this month? That 4th counselor must be retired by now. Yeah, he looks about in his 40s there. So, this was 30-some years ago. He's like 60s or 70s, maybe. Here we go. Now remember, red are new titles new to the top 30. They're the ones you want to look at. If one appears high. Green are favorites. There seems to be a lot of green here. And blue are games that are moving up. So any blue are moving up. Number 1, wow. TMNT, the arcade game, crushed it into number 1. I think the last issue, it was down along here somewhere. Or maybe even into 20. But it crushed its way up to the top here. Just smashed out Super Mario Bros. 3, the perennial champ. Pushed it out of the way for Turtle Mania. 6th month in the top 30. They're finally knocking Mario off the top. Cowabunga, dudes. Mario 3, number 2. You have to settle for 2nd place, but it's been on for 16 months. It was on the top 1 spot. Mega Man 3, still up there. Final Fantasy Up to number 4. Star Tropics with a surprisingly rise to the top 10 into the number 5 spot. That's impressive. Simpsons, Bart versus the Space Beans, up to number 6. That's a little too high there for that game. I'm not a big fan of this game. I think some people like it. I just don't like it. Crystalis is number 7. Dr. Mario is number 8. Dragon Warrior 2 still hanging on. By land parties are searching for Hargon in this vast land of Dragon Warrior 2. Tetris, Richard, Tetris, still number 10. Still in the top 10. Zelda 2 equals poop. No, we haven't get to Zelda 2 yet. You hold your Zelda 2 hate till when we get to it. Jeez, Richard. Double Dragon 3, number 11. That's brand new. Busting onto the top 20. Almost made the top 10. Legend of Zelda, still hanging on at number 12. NES Play Action Football, Ultimate Quest of the Advertise. Mega Man 2, the old staple Mega Man game that most people I knew played first. Number 15. I know my friend and I played that one first. He never had the first Mega Man, but he had 2 through 6 or 4. Super Mario Bros. 2, the perennial classic, best NES Mario game, is at number 16. G.I. Joe, great game. Developed by Kid, who made excellent NES games. I don't think they're no longer making games, but great game. Number 17, brand new to the charts this month, and it busts in at number 17. I'll be looking to see how high this game goes in future issues, because this is a really good game that I didn't play until later, much later, maybe a few years ago. Double Dragon 2, 18, co-op game. I mostly played that co-op with my friend. The Immortal, Destiny of an Emperor, Maniac Mansion, Zelda 2, here you go, Richard. Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Now you can post it. Oh, you retracted it. Are you waiting to post it now? Number 22. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at number 3, the first Ultra Teenage Mutant Ninja. There you go. Okay, there you are, Richard. I knew you'd come through with it. Little Nemo, the Dream Master. Number 24, brand new game. Busting in. This is a game my friend had. I thought it was impossible until a few years ago. I beat it finally. Have fond memories of playing this game at his place. Very dream-like game. Very kid-like game. Very fun. Great music. Bandit Kings of Ancient China busting at 25. I never even heard of this game before. But it busted in brand new in red at number 25. It made the top 30. The original, but still fun to play, Mega Man, number 26. Shadowgate, still hanging on in the top 30. Princess Tomato and the Salad Kingdom busting in the top 30. Number 28. Brand new game coming in there. June 1991. Wizardry, number 29. And Tecmo Bowl for the sports guys, number 30. That's your top 30 games for Volume 25 of Nintendo Power in June 1991. Hey, Lemon, how's it going? How you feeling today? Happy to see Dragon 2S2. Me too. I'm happy to see Dragon Warrior 2 got some love here. Number 9, no less, in the top 10. Pity those 90s kids lost. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, because they couldn't look up a map then, unless Nintendo Power gave it to them. Like, they had to map that out themselves. You're okay, Lemon? I hope you're have some, not as tired this time. Hope your IV thing went well. Dragon Quest II was your least favorite. I could see that. Yeah, definitely it's a lot of people's least favorite. So David Leisure, he was on, I remember his face from the 90s. Oh, he was on Empty Nest, which is an American TV show. Okay. David Chanot, he grew up as a self-described geek and a fat kid tipping the scales at 220 pounds when he was 14 years old. That summer, he set a goal and lived lived by it, losing 60 pounds before school started. Needless to say, the kids were amazed. He remembers there were a third of me missing. David began his career as a Hare Krishna on the movie Airplane. Harry Krishna in the movie. Oh, okay. On the movie Airplane in 1979, which was Airplane's a great movie if you ever see it. It's funny as hell. Excuse my language. If you like having your head shaved for 3 months, his other credit is the NBC television film Goddess of Love with Vanna White, and if it's Tuesday, it must be Belgium, as well as ABC's Perfect People. It's David Leisure. Which issue is this? This is volume 25. We just June 1991. Lemon. Here we go. So Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure 2, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was coming out, and there was a movie coming out, or a game coming out with it. And here's the pack watch. This is basically new games to look out for. They call them game packs for short. Bill and Ted's Excellent Video Game Adventures puts the excellent twosome Bill and Ted through more triumphant time traveling than the game picks up. Where the first movie left off, Bill and Ted have a search through the ages for displaced historical dudes and dudettes and return them to their proper time periods, or else the Wild Stallions will never get their record contract and the future will be totally bogus. Each time period has three-dimensional world to explore. It's easy to get lost without a map. Besides the excellent dialogues between Bill and Ted, the people they meet. One of the highlights we found in the early version was a wild, out-of-control horseback ride. Over Horizon, I don't know what this game is. Over Horizon by Hot B. Oh, it must be one of those unlicensed games. Shoot 'em up tradition, which more advanced and attack buttons. Before you begin, you can customize your ship's weapons and just shoot 'em up. You ship small and rumble powerful. I've never seen that or heard of that. Little Mermaid. It's a fun game. My friend had this game. Brett, who I talked about. And I played it over there, and I played it recently. Not recently, but maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Fun game. Not too hard, too, which is nice. I like to play games that aren't crushingly difficult sometimes. Legend of the Diamonds, it's a baseball game. You played the Little Mermaid game? What did you think of it, Richard? I quite enjoyed it. Not too hard. Pretty fun. Good music. Like, it's a Capcom game. Little Mermaid is a platformer, but you swim in it. You dig up seashells to shoot at sharks and fish. There's hidden hearts in the sand that you can get to increase your life. You fight Ursula at the end, and you basically it retcons it by she goes back into the sea as a mermaid from her. She turns into a human at the end of the movie, and then she goes back into the sea here. This follows up that movie. Hey, Ninja, did anyone watch the new Bill and Ted? I have not yet, Ninja. I have not. I want to. Does it have the ending of the tale? It picks up after the movie. So she goes back into the sea and gets her fins back and goes after Ursula. You liked it, especially shooting the bubbles. Yeah, the shooting bubbles it's a cool mechanic where you shoot bubbles to encapsulate things and you can pick them up, I think. Can you pick them up, the bubbles, or you shoot them off when they're captured in the bubble? Good music, too. It's not hard, too, so it's fun to play. I recommend it. High-speed pinball game. Rockin' Cats is great. Atlas developed, I think. An entire world based on themes from television tunes is yours to explore. Rockin' Cats that tells the hero's main weapons is a spring-loaded boxing glove. So you have a boxing glove you shoot out, you can grab and spin around. It's pretty fun. Pirates. It's Ultra Games, Konami. Until a princess fell in love with another girl and Mermaid dies. Oh, so the fairy tale you're asking if it's based on. It's based on the movie Not the Disney movie, not the fairy tale. Lemon. Discount? No, nowhere near as cryptic as Echo of the Dolphins is almost like a Metroidvania, like action platformer. Not platformer, but exploration game. This is more of a platformer without jumping. A Disney Capcom game. Very easy compared to Echo. You don't talk to anybody, other mermaids. You just go around and shooting bubbles at fish and digging up seashells to shoot at people. And you can pick up enemies after trapping them in bubbles. Thank you, Richard. A prince fell in love with another prince. The prince fell in love with another girl, and the mermaid dies. So that's the fairy tale you're talking about, the Little Mermaid fairy tale that Disney based it off of. I know Disney one is different than the actual tale. The Hook, they're talking about the Hook game for NES. I rented that. It's not very good. Defenders of Donatron City, according to Howard Phillips. LucasArts is working on Defenders of Donatron. So Howard Phillips at this time, this is his last issue. He moved on to LucasArts. And according to him, they're working on Defenders of Donatron City after Star Wars. Robin Hood, based on the Kevin Costner movie. I saw a lot, and I watched it not recently, a few years ago. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Super rumors. You missed the so Ninja. There was a big SNES early look in the early of this magazine. We've got the first look at it. Some canceled designs and talking about the system and such. Next issue is going to be the games, which will be interesting. So here's a little blurb. As we near CES, we've heard tons of rumors about 16-bit games under development. Ocean is working on RoboCop 3, which will combine story elements of all the movies, including RoboCop 3, and will also include some games elements from the arcade game. Sports fans have a lot to look forward to on the Super NES. At least companies are working on baseball games. A couple football, basketball titles are also in the works. Draken, a first-person perspective fantasy role-playing game with smooth, fast scrolling, should make it around the time of the Super NES release. In addition to Railroad Tycoon, PC titles like Lemmings, F-15 Strike Eagle, Mech Warrior, SimCity, and SimEarth are also rumored to be in development for the video game market. Sony ImageSoft is planning to create 16-bit versions of their coming titles Hudson Hawk and Hook. Capcom has some Super NES titles in the works. Final Fight, UN Squadron, and Super Ghouls and Ghosts are two that should be out within a year. So Capcom released in that first year they released Final Fight, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, UN Squadron, and there was another one they released. I can't remember it right now. Thought there was a fourth. Asmic's first SNES title will be called Dimension Force. It utilizes the Super NES Mode 7, which will allow realistic dimension scrolling. The gameplay will be similar to the helicopter sequences in Nintendo's Pilot Wings. We expect lots more surprises at the Consumer Electronics Show, where the Super NES will be officially unveiled this summer. Exciting times. NES Planner coming soon. Addams Family, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bucky O'Hare, Captain Planet, Darkman, Darkwing Duck, Disney's Tailspin, Dragon Warrior 3 still coming up, F-15 Strike Eagle, Family Feud, High Speed, Home Alone, Hudson Hawk, Legends of the Diamonds, Mick Kids, Mega Man 4, Mike Tyson's Power Punch, Ninja Gaiden 3, Over Horizon, Pirates, Robin Hood, RoboCop 3, Rockin' Pat, Star Trek 25th Anniversary, Star Wars, Tecmo Super Bowl, The Little Mermaid, The Hook, Tiny Toons, Euphoria, which never came out here, Where is Carmen Sandiego, Where's Waldo, all coming out. Next month, reviews coming, Robin Hood for the NES, and that's the title. One of this next issue, the title, I remember exactly when it was. I went down to the mailbox. It was summer vacation. Well, I'll discuss it when I see when you see the title. Bill and Ted's Excellent Video Game Adventures, Rockin' Cats, and a Super NES software preview. This month you will get your first glimpse at the Super NES. Next month, you'll see some of the awesome software that will be available to use with it very soon. Wait until you see the great new titles and their graphics. Dear readers, so Howard Phillips left. This might be a farewell. There he is with a big smile playing the Super Famicom and Super Mario World. Of course he's smiling. The big news for me is that I'm leaving Nintendo Power and Nintendo of America to become executive producer of video games and learning products at Lucasfilms. I've been with NOA for great years and I will miss it, but I'm by no means hanging up my bow tie. Moving to Lucasfilms is a great opportunity for me to pursue my interest in video game development. Since I've evaluated game packs of Nintendo's for many years, moving to a development is a logical step that will have me more involved with the video games than ever. So goodbye, Howard Phillips. Goodbye. Hope that guy stayed away from Phantom Menace. Well, Phantom Menace was still a few years off. This is 1991. Had to wait about 8 years? 9 years? So that's Nintendo Power Volume 25 for June 1991. You finally got the Toads reviewed with that huge comic review. They explained the levels, showed some comics about the levels, explained the levels, showed some comics about those levels. Really pushing Battletoads. There's the great artwork on the front. I did not watch Free Guy yet, Lemon. Is it any good? Is it like based on a video game or something? Video game movie? Now we move on to a most nostalgic issue for me, and you're going to see the cover and think, why is this nostalgic? It might be because of the cover. I was home on summer break from school. It was June or July or August or something. My summer breaks where I lived were basically playing games and watching Price is Right and daytime TV. And I'd go out and play in the woods or something. But I'd run down when I figured my Nintendo Power would come, and this time it was I guessed right, and I was able to run back up with it. I remember in the living room, sitting on the floor, looking at this magazine and watching daytime TV. I think the Wonder Years was on, or maybe Price is Right, or it might have been Little House on the Prairie, something like that. But that is Nintendo Power, and this is volume 26. This is August 1991. Am I correct? Let me check myself. Volume 26. Yeah, this is volume 26. I think it's August 1991. I remember this cover very fondly because the Robin Hood movie was just out, and this is the movie based on that, or the game based on that movie. Yeah, this cover with Robin Hood here. Prince of Thieves hit. Robin Hood Prince of Thieves hit movie, hot game. So Game Boy, you got Altered Space, Roger Rabbit, win a trip to pick up your Super NES. So you see they went back to the unmask your power animal and radicalize your game subscription with your game with a subscription to Nintendo Power. So for the past few issues they had that other one, and now they went back to this kid right here with the crazy hair. So this is July 1991. 26th July 1991, not June. I said August, my mistake. Let me make sure this is centered. Here we go. Not based on a game. Did you like it, though? Oh, you liked it. Okay. I'll check it out sometime. The last movie I watched was Rambo Last Blood, and that was a few years ago, I think. I don't watch a lot of movies. I should watch more. Let's see what we got here. This month, we review a mixed bag of games and include a special report on Super NES software. Wait until you see the poster. It's loaded with actual screenshots of games being developed for the Super NES. We've talked a lot about the great graphics made possible by our new 16-bit system. Now see some for yourself. See some for yourself. Talk about Rockin' Cats, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The Little Mermaid. We're also featuring an NES game starring one of Disney's newest and most popular characters, the Little Mermaid. Who Framed Roger Rabbit for Game Boy. Okay, so you see here, Rambo dies at the end of the book. Really? Oh, the First Blood was the First Blood book. Here we go. We got the table of contents. You see Robin Hood. Super NES preview for games at page 48 with a big first look at the title screen of Super Mario World. There's Mario on Yoshi, jumping on a turtle shell. We get to the letters. Great letters. Love this part. Game Boy Beats, sliced bread. Last Christmas, my 2 grown sons gave me a Game Boy. With Tetris and 3 other games. Dexterity, wow. Voxel, fun, and Side Pocket, rad. Words failed me at the time, but no more. This letter is to advise you that the Game Boy is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's addictive but soothing and relaxing. It sounds almost illegal, doesn't it? I fly frequently to visit my children, and you can bet that my Game Boy goes with me. I've thrown away my aspirin, and now chill out. As my kids say, with Tetris or Side Pocket. The concept is terrific. Thanks. Ellen Salander, Inglewood, Florida. Grandma the Gamester. My name is Mark. I have a grandma who was babysitting my sister and I. One night, while we were playing our NES, I asked if she wanted to play with us. And she said, "No, that's for kids." Later, we went to bed. In the middle of the night, I woke up because I heard beeping. Grandma was on level 4 of Super Mario Bros. Mark Gianti, Medford, Oregon. We're kicked. We thought you might get a kick out of this picture. Our 4-year-old son set it up thinking our 3-week-old daughter would like to play a game with him. He told me later that she didn't do very well. The Laskers, Roseville, Michigan. So it's 3-week-old, huh? So 1991 was how long ago? How old is this baby right now? That baby is 30 years old right now. That kid right there. I wonder how your child self reacted to that pic of Yoshi. You knew you would have the chance to let your... Oh, God. Richard, you accidentally kill one Yoshi, and you never hear the end of it. I was hoping I could get by that without anybody mentioning that. But thank you, Richard. Thank you very much. Grandma gamer moment. She's sneaking up in the middle of the night playing Super Mario Brothers. That's a grandma gamer moment. I wouldn't mind my daughters playing with my Game Boy so much that if she would just let me win occasionally. David P. Kerr, Rockville, Maryland. Well, if you're losing to a kid that young, wow. I thought you might enjoy seeing our youngest SNES player, Seth Allen. He mimics his 8-year-old sister, Erin, playing her games, and he looks mighty happy doing it. Sharon Allen, Allentown, PA. Counterfeiters nabbed thanks to Accent's tips. Back in February, we asked agents to blow the whistle on counterfeit game packs, and thanks to the many who did, its working reports on the phonies called and mailed in from across the country are helping us stop the distribution of misleading and inferior game packs, masquerading as genuine Nintendo products. Keep those reports coming in. If you see advertisements for lots of titles, possibly 100 or more, in one of the game packs, be suspicious. Then help finger a fraud by sending us the ad you saw Mario say, Grazi. Wow, they wanted to snitch on all these people, huh? Okay. Okay. You're welcome. I knew I was going to get a Yoshi thing. Senior Strategist. I am 15 and an avid video game player. I love my NES and have beaten almost all of the games I have. But recently, I have been forced to share my Game Boy with someone else, my grandfather. At first, I figured that he wouldn't be any good, so my turns would come quickly. Wrong. My grandfather, Frank DeLong, amazed me. With his skills at gaming like Tetris, Clax, Spot, and Golf. He can play them all with only one hand. He has a stroke when he was about 67. That left him without the use of one arm. My grandfather is about the best player I know at puzzles and strategy games. He is now in the hospital again, so I gave him my Game Boy and Tetris to help him pass the time. I hope he has a quick recovery. At least he'll have a great game to keep him company. James F. DeLong Jr., Birmingham, Alabama. And there's the grandfather right there. That is a big TV for 1991, huh? Old people can't beat Tetris? I'm sure there's lots of old people who can get lots of squares on Tetris. Better than me. I don't think that's true. Enclosed are the remains of my one-time comforter, playmate, and rejuvenator Game Boy as a police officer in Oklahoma City and a registered nurse serving in Operation Desert Storm. I've faced many perils. Fortunately, this Game Boy, several game packs, and sundry other personal items were the only casualties declaimed by a fire while I was stationed in the Middle East. I'm probably not the first to ask, but is it possible to get a replacement? Steven Scroggins, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And there's the Game Boy from the Golf. That's in the Nintendo World Store in New York, I believe, right now. You can actually go and see that Game Boy behind glass. It still works. It's just charred from a fire. When we received Steven's Game Boy from the Middle East, we thought that it was a goner. The back of the unit was fair condition, but the front was charred and blistered from the heat of the fire. As an experiment, we popped in a Tetris game pack, plugged in a battery pack, and flipped on the power switch. When we heard its distinctive ping, we couldn't believe it. The control pad and the A and B buttons suffered from meltdown, but the start and select buttons worked perfectly. Game Boy is even tougher than we thought it was. Of course, we don't recommend that you subject your Game Boy to trial by fire, but in this case, we replaced Steven's Game Boy as a special Desert Storm courtesy. It looks like a lost cause, but a closer look at the screen shows that the Game Boy still works, sort of. You wrote can't be beaten and not can't beat. Old people cannot be... okay. Old people cannot be beaten. Yeah, they're very good at Tetris. Very, very good. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves we have. Based on the hit Kevin Costner movie. I do have a soft spot for this movie. I like it quite a bit. It was a very big movie at this time. Surprised I never played the game. I think I was more into getting Super NES at this point. I wanted everything. My whole mind was about getting a Super Nintendo. I was probably out of the NES games at this point. Still playing them because I had it, but not getting new ones. So you can see this big coverage they put on Robin Hood. Lots of pages for Robin Hood. Druid magic. Where's Druid magic? Druid magic is in the air. Yeah. Howard Nestor's Adventure. You see Howard's no longer there because he left for LucasArts, so it's just Nestor's Adventure now. Rockin' Cat's a very fun game for the NES, where you have a boxing glove grappling hook. You swing to items and you can swing around in 360 degrees. You go to different TV channels, which are lands. There's like a Western themed one. Fun game. Developed by Atlas, I think. Bonus games like Pipe Toss, Basketball, Roulette to get lives. Classified information covers Little Nemo the Dream Master, Stage Select, The Lone Ranger, Area Select Plus, The Simpsons, Bart vs. Space Mutants, Dragon Warrior Part 2, or Dragon Warrior 2, Once is Enough. Hargon's Castle is the site of your final battle against the evil forces. This chapter of the Dragon Warrior saga, chances are that you won't defeat all of the enemies in the castle on your first few tries. You can, though, make each attempt on Hargon's Castle count towards your final victory. You'll find the castle west of Monolith Tyrone. As soon as you enter, use the Charm of Rubus to reveal an actual interior of the castle. Move on behind the throne. The center, use the Jailer's Key. So it's telling you how to get in there. Before you take on Hargon's or Malroth, you'll have to battle Atlas, Bazooza, but it's Bazuzu, not Bazooza, Zarlox. If you're defeated, you'll be sent back to the Monolith of Rhone, where you'll have the opportunity to save your game. If you choose to save, Atlas, Bazuzu, and Zarlox will return to the castle. Choose instead to save, and you'll never have to deal with those creatures again. So wait a minute, you choose to save when you lose if you beat them, and then you save, and you'll have to fight them again. I thought they reappeared when you reset. I want the dragon. Me too, Lemon. Me too. It'll probably be next year. If they were showing what they were showing in the Dragon Quest 25th or 30th anniversary, they showed just the Alahan, the opening island, and the cave where you use the ball to explode the wall, and that was pretty early in the game, so they're pretty early probably in development. So probably another year, I would think. I like that you don't like a game like The Simpsons, you say, it's not your cup of tea, and the other people like it, whereas they simply roast the game and everyone involved. Oh, yeah. I mean, bad games, I find the more you play, even a bad game, if you play it and learn it, it becomes enjoyable to you. So I don't like to always crap on games, especially if I haven't played them. That's why you'll notice a lot of games I say I never played it. I'm not going to... Like Silver Surfer, I hear lots of bad things about it, but I'm not going to crap on it because I never played it, so I can't make a judgment for myself. Low G-Man, I played a little bit of this. It seems like something I'd like to play more of. I didn't quite get the controls down. It's kind of weird feeling. It feels like it's moving at a snail's pace. The characters are really small. It was interesting. WrestleMania Challenge, Silver Surfer. And here you go, Richard. This is the Little Mermaid. There's a big spread on the Little Mermaid. Mapping out the levels. Our first boss is a shark, I think. Be well prepared before you face the Wicked Witch. Long-range swats and super powerful bubbles make the big battle much easier. Bill and Ted's Excellent Video Game Adventures. You love Little Mermaid? I like that. You found some Little Mermaid emotes. And a genie? Is that a genie emote with like a Wi-Fi symbol coming out of it? You know, there were those emotes. You like sharks? Have you seen Jaws? Jaws is one of my favorite movies. It's not really flattering to the shark, but it has a shark in it. There's also an NES game, Jaws, I never played. The sharks are pretty cool. They've been around forever. They're perfect killing machines for perfect predators, I should say. Have you ever seen any in an aquarium? Do you have an aquarium near you you can go to and see them? Like hammerheads and sand sharks. They're pretty cool to see in an aquarium. I never played this Bill and Ted movie. Pretty sure this game is terrible. I have not played it, so I don't know. But I've heard it was terrible, yes. I have heard it was terrible. Ah, here we are. This is what made me want to get ActRaiser, right here. This screenshot. Here we go, guys. This is it. This is the second part of the Super NES extravaganza. Last issue we showed off the system, talked about it. Now we're going in tech with the tech and the games. Future gaming with Super Nintendo Entertainment System. High-tech games for a high-tech system. So I'm reading this upside down, so I'm reading it slowly, so. When game designers decide that a game idea will be developed for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Super NES, the first thing that they consider is how the new capabilities of the system will work into the design of the game. With the ability to rotate moving characters to rotate and zoom into objects to manipulate as many as 128 moving characters at once, and to present a real-sounding, fully orchestrated soundtrack, the Super NES is more than just a standard NES with better graphics. It's a whole new kind of game system. Here's a closer look at each new feature with the examples of how they will be used in upcoming games. You can't read upside down sufficiently. It's hard. Like, I'm struggling to do it. Very hard, I know. The Super NES is capable of showing an object and turning it around, even flipping it over as though it existed in the real world. This effect is made possible by a feature programmers referred to as Mode 7. One of the programs that most effectively uses Mode 7 rotation is F-Zero, a futuristic driving game. The effect is nothing short of dramatic. When the player-controlled car crashes and the camera view moves forward briefly, then rotates 180 degrees to show the burning wreckage. Rotation is also used at the finish line when the camera speeds up and turns to show a side view of the track as the player-controlled car races to victory past the competition. Nintendo's F-Zero uses rotation and rotation simulation through a course, twists, and turns, a given direction view seen in the finish line crossing scene. They're showing it right there. Animation. ActRaiser from Enix Quintet developed it, Enix published it. ActRaiser from Enix effectively uses multiple background scrolling rotation and scaling along with a truly epic soundtrack. So yeah, this game I was so excited for just from the graphics. This looked amazing to me. Animation. When foreground objects are manipulated, they are redrawn as many as 60 times per second for smoother animation. While that is no different from the standard NES, the effect is quite dazzling as seen in the high-resolution graphics of the new system. The scenes in Super Mario World, where Mario grabs onto the fence and flips it over to the other side, are a good example. Mario flips to the other side of the fence in this scene from Super Mario World. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Like, you could flip and then flip to the side and do that. That's, I can't even make that sound. And then you flip to the other side. Wonder why most consoles dropped the entertainment system part from their name. I think Nintendo originally put the entertainment system in because in North America, at least, there was a video game crash and retailers wanted nothing to do with video games, so they couldn't call it a video game system, so they called it an entertainment system to say it's like a toy or a high-tech piece of electronics, not a video game. And so it would sell, because people were very hesitant to take it into stores. Previously, when programmers wanted to show an object becoming larger and larger as it approached, they had to draw the object several different sizes and then present the pictures of the object one at a time, like the frames in a movie. The effect was rough at best, and if used for a precious program memory with Mode 7 scaling, though, an object drawn only once and then manipulated by the Super NES grows or shrinks as its movement related to the camera view. Pilot Wings, a flight simulator, uses scaling to show approaching targets in the parachuting events. For example, the larger the target grows with an alarming realism as the player-controlled character plummets. PGA Golf, a game that will present several different golf courses on the PGA circuit, will also use scaling. The whole effect will be very TV-like, says John Traeger of Electronics Arts, describing the smooth movement of the camera view. You can fly right down to the hole and look at all of the sand traps and takes as you pass by. It really is a spectacular effect. Big characters and a lot of them. I can picture little Brian pestering his parents. Yeah, I was doing everything I could to. I was laser focused on getting a Super Nintendo. I didn't get allowance, so I had to figure out how to get $200 to get one. So I came up with having my one and only birthday party, and I invited people from school, even if they weren't really my friends, because I knew they'd bring money. And I did actually get around $200, and I bought it that following November, because my birthday was in November. So yeah, it was a great time. I think I probably told my people who were coming, like if you, I don't want anything, just give me money so I can get a Super Nintendo. Probably I did that. That sounds like something I'd do. Since the Super NES had a resolution of 512 by 448, yeah, made me be social. Yeah, video games made me very, I mean, I didn't have a lot of friends, but all my friends were made through video games. So I invited them along. I think we played Nerf guns out in the yard, too, because I was big into Nerf stuff. But yeah, I had some friends. Yeah, it wasn't like I didn't have friends during grade school at this time. Most of them were through video games. Since the Super NES has a resolution of 512 by 448 pixels and characters can be as large as 128 by 128 pixels, you'll see some pretty impressive elements in games like Gradius 3 from Konami and Super R-Type from Irem. The enemies will also be able to come out in force, as 128 moving objects can be manipulated at once. Having lots of sprites really helps, says Jez Sands, managing director and programmer at Argonaut in Great Britain. It allows us to make really big people and robots walk around with no flicker. Santa is working on a number of games that will feature large and numerous moving objects. And there's a shot of Gradius 3, which I've never played Gradius 3. Has an outstanding soundtrack, though. But I'm kind of intimidated by shooters. As you can see, when I've been playing Axelay, they kind of get me riled up. So I kind of steal. I'm worried when I get into one, I'll really get into one, and that's all I want to play, and it'll make me stir some emotions in me that I'm not always proud of. Color layering. One of the projects that Santa and his fellow game designers at Argonaut are working on is a comic space adventure tentatively titled Demolition. While Sans is wary not over to use some of the Super NES effects that will be frequently featured in other games, Demolition will employ colorful layering effects that allow transparent objects to overlap solid objects. No machine has had a transparency before, Santa explains. Using this effect, the characters in the game can walk behind an object and the player will still be able to see what the character is doing. Demolition will also employ a mosaic effect that works for smooth transitions between scenes. These scenes from Super Mario World show transparent objects through the color layering effect that will also be used in Demolition. So the transparency in the boo houses of the ghosts that are behind you, or the balls that you can spin jump off of in Super Mario World, that's an example of it. So they're showing examples of games and how they're using these tech things. I can picture little Brian in school. I don't know you, and I don't like you. You've probably never heard of me either. But I need an SNES, and you're invited to my party. Bring money, but don't bother to show off. It wasn't quite like that. I think I only invited 1, 2, 3, 4 kids. 4 or so kids, I think, showed up at my party. So, what, $200 divided by 4? And I'm sure my mom gave me like 50 or something, so they probably gave me like 15, 20 bucks each or something like that. I remember this one kid I invited. I wasn't really friends with him, but like I invited him anyway. I don't know why. Well, I know why. It was so I had more people to give me money for my Super Nintendo. To create a feeling of the depth in side view action, scenes, the Super NES allows 3 backgrounds to scroll independently. This will parallax scrolling. This allows for an effect that you experience in real life when you're riding in a car and mountains in the distance pass by slowly, while objects in the side of the road pass by quickly. Note that the objects in the distance have moved only slightly in the 2 photos, while the objects in the foreground have moved the length of the screen. Oh, I don't know why. No, I know why. It was money, that's why. That's why. Richard found some nice emojis there. One of the abilities that can be acquired in ActRaiser from Enix is called the Gift of Music. It's an appropriate phrase because the Super NES really does have a gift of presenting music and sound effects that sound as real as anything that you can hear on television. When the soundtrack is combined with the clarity and colors of the graphics and all of the great Super NES features, the effect is so stunning that it's like you're controlling the events in an interactive movie. Okay, here we go. Now, the poster I ripped out here had a lot more games listed on a fold-out poster. I remember this poster. I don't know where it's at, if it's in a box somewhere, but it's not in here. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But we can look at role-playing. You have Final Fantasy II. You have Bamboozled. For action, you have D-Force. For adventure, you have SD The Great Battle. I don't know if that came out. Ultraman from Bandai. Sports, you have Big Run. Never heard of that. Action, you have Gaidon. I don't know what that is. Is that Lagoon? No, that's Seven Side. What is this game? Battle Dodgeball from Bandit. Super Ultra Baseball from... So a lot of these did not come out. Some of these did not come out in North America. Or if they did, I never heard of them. Like this, where they were renamed. Game Boy, you got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Altered Space, Blades of Steel, Sneaky Snakes, the sequel to Snake Rattle and Roll. I'd like to play that sometime. Infogenius Personal Organizer, the Personal Organizer, Dick Tracy, and Navy SEALs, based on the movie, I think. Who Framed Roger Rabbit for the Game Boy. There's all of Toontown. Infogenius Personal Organizer Productivity Pack. So I guess they give you a list of these cities here. They give you sites to see, hotels, restaurants, stuff like that. I think it's just these cities here in the North America and US. How it works: move the hand icon to a letter and press A to select it. Press Start to search for a word. I don't know what they're talking about there. Sneaky Snakes, Nibbly Pibblies. This is a sequel to Snake Rattle and Roll. It's a side-scroller, though, not an isometric platformer. Basic same thing. You have to weigh in to hit the scale. So the door won't open until you ring the bell. If you're not heavy enough, the first time you must go back and catch some more Nibbly Pibblies. Navy SEALs, based on the Charlie Sheen movie, which I've never seen. Dick Tracy, based on the popular movie, which I saw in theaters with my mom. Armored Space. I've never heard of this game. It looks interesting, though. Huh. It's like a big game, huh? Wow. This game's huge. It looks like Solstice. Not strong enough to open a door. Reminds me of Tomb Raider, Angel of Darkness. Not strong enough to open a door. What are you referring to? Did I forget what I said there. Blades of Steel. Now playing Blades of Steel, Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 2, Dick Tracy, Travel Guide, Infogenius Personal Organizer, Infogenius Spanish Translator, Infogenius Spell Checker, Navy SEALs, The Punisher, Sneaky Snakes, Torpedo Range, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Looks like the highest reviewed one is... well, the X's for these personal organizers because they don't have any play control. Looks like Who Framed Roger Rabbit is the highest rated one. Wow, challenge. Sneaky Snakes got a really low challenge. That's surprising considering the NES version is really hard. Super Mario World is number 1 for the Game Boy Top 10. Final Fantasy Legend moved up to number 2, bumping off Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from number 2. Tetris, number 5. Dr. Mario, number 4. F1 Race, number 6. Gargoyle's Quest hanging in there, number 7. Operation C, bumping in number 8. Castlevania The Adventure at number 9. And NBA Challenge, number 10. No Metroid 2 yet. No, we'll get to Metroid 2. It's coming up, Richard. Coming up. Now playing High Speed, the pinball game. Legends of the Diamond, the baseball game, where you play as these old-timer baseball guys like Ty Cobb, Cy Young, Johnny Miz, Billy Harmon, Jimmy Fox, Rogers Hornsby, Steve Carlton, Bob Gibson, Whitey Ford, Lefty Gomez, Dizzy Dean, Ernie Banks, Will McCovey, Hank Aaron, Billy Williams, Joe Torre, Harmon Killebrew, Joe Morgan, Lou Gehrig. They're good baseball guys. Over Horizon. This is a spaceship shooter. Never heard of it. Oh, this is that one from Hot B I was talking about the other day, or the other issue. They're really talking this game up. Videomation. So, for the NES games coming out, just released High Speed, Legends of the Diamond, Little Mermaid, Rainbow Islands, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Rockin' Cats, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, and Videomation. Players Poll Concerts, Grand Prize winners, a Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Each Super Anniversary Grand Prize package includes an all-expense-paid trip to Nintendo of America's corporate headquarters in Redmond, Washington. There it is. One of the first Super Nintendo Entertainment Systems to reach the U.S. 6 second prize game winners win a Game Boy. 9 third prize winners win NES Advantage. And 30 fourth prize winners win a Nintendo Power Jersey, which I'd like that one a lot. I bet you that goes for a lot of money now. Counselor's Corner, you see a lot of Deja Vu here. 3 tips on Deja Vu. And a tip for Legend of Zelda. How do I rig the money-making game? Wally Blake is back. I remember him from last issue. We have a female counselor, Joyce Davis. Ken Swatman with a nice curly mullet. Bruce White has a little bit of a mullet going on. So here's Ken Swathman. Let's appreciate these game counselors here. I love this part. Ken Swathman, hobbies: rock climbing, playing guitar, hiking. Best NES accomplishment: completed Batman with 1 life. Wow, that is impressive. Favorite NES game? Batman. Well, that's his favorite NES game. There you go. Joyce Davis, our first or second female counselor we saw over these past few issues. Hobbies: cooking, playing Nintendo games. Best NES accomplishment: finished The Legend of Zelda in 4 hours. Favorite NES game? The Legend of Zelda. Bruce M. White. Hobbies: listening to music, dancing, reading, eating pizza. That's a guy I can get behind right there. Best NES accomplishment: finished The Legend of Zelda without a sword. Favorite NES game? Mega Man 2. Wally Blake is back. He's that 40 older guy. I guessed he looks around his early 40s, maybe late 30s, which would make him about 60-something now, retired almost. Best NES accomplishment: finished Bionic Commando with 1 life. That is very impressive, actually. Favorite NES games? Dragon Warrior 2 and Final Fantasy. There's my man right there, Dragon Warrior 2. He's probably the one you called up, and when there was a Dragon Warrior 2 question, they called on Wally, and they're like, Wally, there's a kid who wants to get through the cave to Roan. I got this. Patch him over to me. That's who helped you with Dragon Warrior 2 right there, Wally Blake. Hey, Game Wired, welcome. Love the streams. Keep them coming. Perhaps some Game Pro. I do have Game Pro. I could do some Game Pro. I have lots of Game Pro. Would you guys like to see some Game Pro next time? How do you rig the money-making game? That's a good question. Let's see. And thank you, Game Wired. Glad you like the streams. I appreciate it a lot. Keep them coming. Yeah, I understood. Keep them coming. I understood. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Finally, a female counselor. We saw one other female counselor, yeah. So how do you rig the money-making game? Let's see what they have to say. That's what Lemon wants to know. Oh, it's right up here. Okay. You'll walk away with a bundle of purchase valuable items. You can outsmart the proprietor of the money-making game. Make sure you have a bomb and at least 10 rupees. Walk one screen to the left of the starting point and bomb the wall to get into the hidden cave. Then pause the game by pressing the start button on controller 1. Then on controller 2, press the A button and up on the control pad. This quick end maneuver will allow you the option to save and continue or retry. Save the game and start again. Then enter the cave, play the money-making game, use the quick end maneuver, more. Okay, so they're basically saying play, if you lose, restart, win, save, and quit, play again, if you lose, restart, play, win, save, and quit, keep going back. So it's basically saying to save it and reload if you lose. That's all it is, Lemon. So, wow, big write-up on Faria. I guess kids were having trouble with Faria. Lemon's like, boring. So, Game Wired, are you still here? Did you have Nintendo Power? What magazines did you guys have growing up? I should ask. I'm asking Game Wired, but I'm also asking you guys. Did you have any game magazines that you read? Puznik? Okay, top 30 time. This is one of my favorite times, too. I know I say this a lot, but the letters, the top 30, and that Super Nintendo is pretty cool. You had, I know Lemon had the, was it Nintendo Club Nintendo comics she read. Here we go. Top 30 for volume 26 of Nintendo Power, July 1991. After its brief stint at number 1 for TMNT2, the arcade game, bumping off Super Mario Bros. 3 last month, Mario 3 took back the number 1 spot, 17 months on the charts. Takes back its number 1 spot. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 has to settle for number 2. The Turtles slipped to second. That won't stop their thug-slugging sewer patrol, though. They're back in first and set to celebrate by stomping some Koopas. Way to go, bros. Number 3, Final Fantasy. Number 4, Mega Man 3 slipped from the top 3. It's to number 4. Simpsons still way too high at number 5. Star Tropics, a surprisingly jump up to number 6 this month. Dragon Warrior 2, bumping up to number 7. I think it was around this part last time. Tetris still in the top 10, Richard. Crystalis, number 9. Dr. Mario, number 10. And the next 20, we have one new game we'll get to here. The rest are all pretty much stalwarts here, plus one new game. It was this red one. Double Dragon 3, Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Bros. 2, Dragon Warrior, Destiny of an Emperor, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Ultima Quest of the Avatar, Mega Man 2, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe still hanging in there, 21, NES Play Action Football, the new game that's on the top 20 for the first time, Caveman Games, Wizardry, Little Nemo the Dream Master, WWF WrestleMania, Maniac Mansion, Super C, Battle of Olympus, and Ducktales. So Ducktales rounding out the 30. Zelda 2 still in the top 20. And right on cue, we have Zelda 2's making process. Salad. So you have salad greater than dog greater than poop. I like Zelda. I mean, okay, GameWire, hello. So Richard likes to make fun of Zelda 2. I like Zelda 2. but Richard does not like Zelda 2, so every time Zelda 2 is on here, he makes a little emoji insult. That's what that's about. Club Nintendo, yes, I remember. I still did not look up the Club Nintendo comics, Lemon. Sorry. We could find them and then we could go through them sometime, though. Metroid is not on here. You're right. Last I saw it, it was hanging around at the top 20, pretty low, but it's not on here. You are correct. I mean, it was a very early NES game, so that's probably has to do with it. There's a lot of games that came out since. You had a sub to GamePro for years. Sweet. Yeah, me too. I had a sub. I got Nintendo Power up until the issue with Mega Man X on the front, and then I switched over to GamePro, and I got GamePro from like 92, 93 to like 2008 or something like that. But I wish I would have stuck with Nintendo Power a little longer. Shame on me? What did I do? Or shame on Richard for insulting Zelda 2? Or shame on the gameplay for Metroid not being on here? No, Zelda 2 making process is geared the dog so he poops. Oh, no. Zelda 2 making process. Feeding the dog so he poops Zelda 2. Yeah, I didn't check the comics. No, sorry. Sorry. My days have been trying to beat basically trying to beat Axley on normal difficulty and then working. Sorry. Sometime I will. I could find them and we could like put up like a PDF reader and on the screen and we could talk about them. You're always a hello, Toilet Nugget. I remember you. Your name is very familiar. Welcome, Toilet Nugget. I was always a Game Informer and EGM fan. My favorite night. I had like one issue of EGM from the PlayStation era, and I think a few Game Informers from late 2015s or late 2000s. But I never really read those a lot, so they're kind of a mystery to me. I do have a lot of digital issues of them, though. You still want to see Super Mario RPG. Well, I did play through it before on my Twitch channel, but I know you can't watch the Twitch. I think I uploaded to my YouTube, the Super Mario RPG. I think it's on there if you search it. I have the whole playthrough on my YouTube channel. I think I brought it over. I'll have to check. And it looks like Lemon likes EGM and Game Informer as well. So, celebrity profile, Marsha Warfield. She's the judge, the officer in Night Court. I remember Night Court. Anybody remember Night Court? It was a pretty funny U.S. sitcom aired about people who would have like these mini cases at night, hence Night Court. It was a funny show. I watched it sometimes, not all the time. So, Nes Achievers, what game did people beat the most? Still, Dracula 3 is being finished at a record pace. Deja Vu, a lot people finished it. Gremlins 2, people are finishing that. Narc, a lot of people getting high scores on Narc. Mega Man 3, people still crushing that game and finishing it. Little Nemo the Dream Master still getting finished by a lot here. Team N2, the arcade game, finished. Tetris, lots of people with high scores. For both NES and Game Boy, and Star Tropics, lots of people finishing it. Defenders of Dinotron City, this is the Phillips, who went over to LucasArts this time. Last issue he was advertising this game. From Konami, we have Konami Ultra, stuff cooking for the NES this fall. Sequels to the PC adaptation. Where is Carmen Sandiego? That's what this game is. Also, King's Quest V they have coming out. Game should translate well, they said. As for sequels, look for Contra Force, aka Contra 3, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, sometimes this winter. So we're talking about Contra Force and TMNT 3, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and King's Quest 5 for Konami. Ninja Gaiden 3. This is an awesome game. Awesome game. Hayabusa's the most famous ninja character on the NES will return in this third video game adventure this fall. Subtitled The Ancient Ship of Doom, the game will play, of course, be familiar to the ninjas veterans, but in an effort to keep up with the other video games ninjas, Ryu has added a few moves to his repertoire. He'll still have all the magic ninja arts from before, but no jump and slash, and he'll also be able to climb hand over hand on horizontal pipes. Like the other Ninja Gaiden games, the plot is excellent. Someone impersonating Ryu has pushed Irene Liu, CIA analysis, off a cliff. During her investigation of a secret lab codenamed Cardinal, Ryu immediately sets off in search of Irene's killer, in what is sure to be another world-spanning adventure, full of mysterious characters and plot twists, all told in the cinematic scene graphics, which the first Ninja Gaiden game popularized. Richard, you redeemed yourself. You redeemed yourself from all the Zelda 2 hate. It's my favorite as well. I love Ninja Gaiden 3. Have you gone through it and beat it? Because it's very challenging, but very fun. Very, very fun to play. Treasure Master from Acclaim and LJN. Let's see. Roger Clemens MVP Baseball. Trog. Wizards and Warriors 3, Kuros Visions of Power. Remote Control? Was that Remote Control? No, Smash TV. Okay. Okay, next up. Gossips. So these may or may not come out. We have Kung Fu 2 and Hammering Harry. Kung Fu 2 never came out here, but I think it did come out in Japan as Spartan X or something. I forget what it was. Ultimate Warriors of Destiny. Snow Brothers. More romance than Uncharted Waters. CES on show. Although Nintendo's CES booth was bigger than ever with tons of titles announced and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System officially unveiled, a few licensees were noticeably absent from the booth. But don't be alarmed, Natsume simply didn't have their 2 SNES games finished enough to show, and so decided to wait until winter. Taxan will also take the show off to concentrate on development. No, I'm sorry, Richard. I keep bringing up that SNES theft that you had. I'm sorry. I don't mean to bring that up. So you had the SNES trilogy version then, huh? Did you have the Ninja Gaiden trilogy? And I don't mean to keep bringing that up, Richard. I'm sorry about your SNES. You're like, no, my SNES was stolen, Brian. I told you that before. Stop bringing up this traumatic experience to me. Jeez. Captain Planet. But to be honest, I thought you meant the NES one, because I never played the trilogy version. Captain Planet. So these are coming soon. Captain Planet, Darkman, Defenders of Dinosaur City, Dragon Warrior 3 still coming out, Legends of the Diamond, Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom, Pirates, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, Smash Brothers, Snow Brothers, Star Wars, Super Jeopardy, Tailspin. They spelled Tailspin wrong, I think. Tecmo Super Bowl, The Flash, Trog, Euphoria, Where's Waldo, and Wolverine. Coming later, Addams Family, Bases Loaded, Contra Force, Hammering Harry, Home Alone, Hudson Hawk, King's Quest, Kung Fu 2, Mega Man 4, Might and Magic, Monsters in My Pocket, Star Trek, Terminator 2, Tiny Toons, TMNT 3, Ultimate Warriors of Destiny, Uncharted Warriors, and Wherein is Carmen Sandiego? Next month, a Super NES preview. The Super NES is about to arrive next month, and we'll preview 3 games that will be among the first to release for use with it. Super Mario World, Gradius 3, and ActRaiser. Nice. Ninja Game 3. Irene is dead, and Ryu has been framed for the murder, but the heroic ninja won't take it sitting down. Revenge, mystery, and a secret plot make up the final chapter of this series, Final Fantasy Legend 2. Squaresoft follows its popular Game Boy RPG Final Fantasy Legend with a sequel that is sure to please fans of the original game. It is an epic adventure with plenty of twists and turns to keep you in guessing. Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge. The many Mega Man fans will be excited to hear that the Mega Man is coming to Game Boy. Dr. Wily robots are exacting his revengeance, and it's Mega Man who must pay the price. Is he up to it? So here's a picture of Gail Tilden, the editor of Nintendo Power. There is a free. I recommend if you like hearing about Nintendo. There's a free documentary online about playing with Power. It's a 5-part documentary about Nintendo during this time, and she's interviewed with it. It's very fun to watch. We get very excited when we hear about games being developed based on a hit movie. There's a problem, however. Just because a license has purchased the rights to make a game based on a movie, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has the rights to feature the actors apparently in it. Working with celebrities can be tricky business. For example, Arcadia already has a Robin Hood game in the works. When you heard about the Warner Brothers movie, it obtained the rights to make the game, and only after the game was finished did Arcadia discover that it could not include likenesses of the stars themselves. So that is Nintendo Power, Volume 26. This is June 1991, I believe. July 1991, I'm sorry. Like I said, a nostalgic issue for me just for the cover alone. I remember getting it from the mailbox, running back up, and plopping on the floor and watching some reruns of probably Little House on the Prairie, or watching Price is Right or Wonder Years or something, and reading this magazine. Okay, what do we got? 2 hours. I can look at one more, I guess. Oldest video is 11 years old. That was the one I did with a review of the Harmony remote, I think, Lemon. Yeah, that was my first one. It's been 11 years ago, yeah. 2010? Yeah. I did. You can keep bringing it up. Didn't really feel it as trauma. I don't mean to do that, but it just happens. I'm going to take a quick break to get a drink, and I'll be right back. Here, I'll put you with an issue of the next one we're looking at here. Okay. Back with a drink of water. Thanks for waiting. Hang on, 1991 kids. You will live to see Pokemon and forget Zelda 2. Ugh. Richard. Always getting a shot at Zelda 2. Okay. So here we have Nintendo Power Volume 27. I think this is... What year is this one from? What month, I should say. This is Volume 27 from August 1991. On the cover you see the first Game Boy Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge, series updates, Dragon Warrior 2 and 3, Ninja Gaiden 3, Super NES preview with ActRaiser, Super Mario World, and Gradius 3. So the Super NES came out 1991 in August. So when this was out, it would probably be out by now, the Super NES. So here we go. Our featured game begins with Ninja Gaiden 3, Ryu's latest adventure. It has the most intriguing plot yet, beginning with a mysterious murder that calls for Ryu's investigation. Ninja Gaiden fans won't be disappointed. See what's up with the Super NES in a special preview section, beginning with page 72, with Super Mario World. If you thought Super Mario Bros. 3 was great, wait until you see this one. There are loads of great titles just waiting for the Super NES, including two others that round out the preview, Gradius 3 and ActRaiser. Ninja Gaiden 3, Dragon Warrior 1 and 2. And after a quick look at 2, we're returning to the earlier Dragon Warrior 2 and 3, I should say. Oh, cool, we're going to see 3. After a quick look at 2, we are returning to an earlier age in 3 to meet the ancestors that shaped the future of the Dragon Warrior series. Oh, a little spoilers coming on here, huh? Okay. Ninja Gaiden should have a crossover. That would be cool. I just would like to have seen a 16-bit Ninja Gaiden game. Just anything 16-bit Ninja Gaiden. Super NES in Canada. I read the June and July issue of Nintendo Power that the Super NES is coming to the US this fall. It sure sounds great. Will they be sold in Canada this fall too? Peter Hughes, Vancouver, British Columbia. Our manufacturing facilities have been taxed to the max to meet the high demand for Japan's Super Famicom. We are now concentrating on the Super NES, but have been able to produce only a limited number. Therefore, we don't plan to ship them to Canada this fall, and they will probably be in the very short supply here in the US. We have high hopes for 1992. It's official. Mayor Tom Bradley officially declared November 5th, 1991 is Nintendo Fun Day in Los Angeles. Now here's a city that knows how to have fun. Look at this kid. Look at how happy this kid is with his Nintendo set. Look at that. That's pure joy. Christopher Police of Clarks Summit, PA, recently got a Nintendo action set for his 5th birthday. We don't think it's possible for anyone to look as happier. Poor Canada. Should have remained mine. Feels bad. Should have remained your mind when you bought him in that Monopoly game yesterday. What was that Monopoly game called that had Canada you could buy, Richard? A cold-blooded player. This is my iguana, Phyllis, enjoying my Nintendo Entertainment System. Nothing personal, but I think that she appreciates the heat generated from the NES more than the exciting graphics and great gameplay. Nintendo and Reptiles Forever. Jason Tarshish, Campbell, California. Where's Fiery Mario? My son David is a recent subscriber to your magazine and wanted to thank you for the Dragon Warrior game pack. Oh yeah, that's just how I got my game pack. Would have been around this time. Well, actually, it was before this, I think. I think I had it when Dragon... Yeah, I would have had it been before this. Dragon Warrior Game Pack. David, age 6, who has played Nintendo games since he was 4, is quite accomplished. In many games, he has studied your strategy guides and used them to figure out how to play the games. In fact, I can say that Nintendo Power has motivated him to learn how to read. Not to be outdone, brother Robbie, age 3, has also taken up the control pad to turn in some pretty respectable scores. I am really pleased to see him apply himself to learning the games. Through his brother's example, he has gained a lot of self-confidence. Through his accomplishments, there is a definite place for a Nintendo in our house. Pat Little, Pebble Beach, California. Here they are there. David on the left. Right there. And you have Robbie on the right there. This is about baseball. I don't care about that. We'll move on to that. Here we go. We have Ninja Gaiden 3, the Ancient Ship of Doom. Ninja Gaiden 3, the Ancient Ship of Doom is Tecmo's third ninja action thriller based on the arcade game. Although rumor has it that this is Ryu's final appearance, at least he goes out with a bang. The action is now non-stop with some great new moves like being able to grab hold of bars and swing up to the platforms from below. The menacing story, told in cinematic scenes, ties each of the 7 stages of the gameplay together. Look for a great graphics and super control, just like the first 2 Ninja Gaiden games for the NES. But more than anything else, look for a challenge that won't quit. Quick brief story about a long time ago of the first Ninja Gaidens. The statues, meeting Irene Liu, his dad's duel with the other ninja, collecting ninja weapon bonuses. So you have ninja stars, fire shots to go up at an angle. This is the, what is this one? Oh, that's the one that there's 2 blades that shoot above and below you for a second or so. Fire wheel, which you can bring up at will. Down blast, down shoots at an angle, down angle instead of an up angle. And super sword, which extends your sword into a bigger arc and has Ryu do a ha ha. Bonuses, you have a scroll, which I think the scroll increases your Nimpo you can have. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, one of them adds to his Nimpo power. So you can have up to 100, I think, Nimpo. I think it's the scroll that does that. The red refills it by 40, I think. Health, with that little, face in a 1-up. I don't care about baseball, and you were surprised to hear I don't care about soccer. Yeah, not all Americans like baseball. It's just a stereotype. Just like I thought Brazilians. I was surprised when you said you didn't like soccer, because I thought all Brazilians liked soccer. I thought that was in your blood. So yeah, I could see how you're surprised that I don't like baseball. I did play wiffle ball as a kid. Act 1. Look at these great drawings still. There's Ryu jumping in the air. Act 2. These are hand-drawn maps they're drawing here. Could be worse. Could be American football. That's true. Act 3. Act 4. America football is boring rugby. I don't know how rugby. I never watched rugby. Act 5. Act 6. So these maps are really cool. They're like sketching these out instead of putting scenes together. Somebody actually drew these maps. And they have little blow-ups of screens of areas you need to watch for. I mean, just look at the border. This is a great review. Like, the border, they took time to put dragons around it. Nestor's Adventures. Classified information. Battletoads. Web-footed warp. More telling about warps and Battletoads. Vice Project Doom. Akari Warriors 3. NES Open Tournament Golf. Mega Man 3. Here we go. Is Lemon still here too? She should see this. Are you still here, Lemon? Okay, 10-1. Are they going to spoil the big surprise in this issue? Are they going to spoil the surprise of this game? I'm going to say not all of it, but they're going to spoil some of it. They're not going to spoil the big reveal. Oh, hi, Lemon. Here's Dragon Warrior 3. I wanted you to see this. Yes, Dragon Quest 3. Dragon Warrior over here for a while, until Dragon Quest 8 in 2005. Edric's Saga, The Origin, and the Aftermath. The first role-playing game to be an NES hit, Dragon Warrior, set the stage not for what was to follow, but for what came before. In this review, we will show key moves that will help you finish Dragon Warrior 2 and catch up with the series. Then we'll go back in time to search for the root of the legend. Well, they're kind of spoiling a bit. Nice work, Nintendo. Keep spoiling your own games. They're kind of this is interesting. Okay. The history of Dragon Warrior. The telling of Erdrick legend began in discovering the source himself. The saga gets Alfgard with his descendant. Wait, what? The telling of Erdrick's legend began in Alfgard with his descendants. When we discovered the source himself, the saga gets bigger and bigger. 1989. The telling of the legend begins. A lone warrior sets out to follow in Erdrick's footsteps by bringing peace to Alfgard. To do so, he must slay the wicked, brutal Dragon Lord. Villagers you meet have information that will help you continue your quest. Enter the dark places armed with courage, magic, and client weapons, and perhaps a torch. Dragon Warrior 2, 1990. So these were all out in subsequent years. 89 was 1, 90 was 2, 91 was 3. Expect the unexpected as you explore new terrain. Instead of traveling alone, now you heed a party of 3. As you explore the expanded world of Alfgard, which is 4 times larger than it was in Dragon Warrior, you'll be glad that you have extra help when you encounter parties of enemies like none you've ever seen. So actually, the world of Alfgard is just like a continent here. The world of Dragon Warrior 2 is actually called something else. It begins with a T, I forget. I think it begins with a T. You, as a party leader, learn to use the talents of each team member. Strategy is vital when you face multiple enemies. Plan your attack. The new world is so big that you'll need a ship to explore it all. So they don't explain that you're descendants of Edric, do they? So they don't spoil that. So maybe they're not going to spoil stuff. In the US, it was called, yep. It was called Dragon Warrior up until 2005, yep. And the first one was Dragon Quest 8. with the Dragon Quest name. Dragon Warrior 3. The secrets of legend are finally revealed. Oh boy, are they going to spoil? Are they going to spoil this? "1991. The third game in the series might explain some of the mystery surrounding the earlier episodes. This time you had a party of 4, some of which can make beneficial class changes during your quest, and you can learn more spells than ever. The passing of time is an all-new element. Explore during the day. When you can't, at night. When you must, you will explore by ship, as you did in Dragon Warrior 2. But this time, you will also have to fly high aboard a huge bird to reach remote places." Well, that's kind of a spoiler. "In daytime, towns bustle with activity. At night, some of the shops close, and some people give interesting new tips. Flying is safe travel because there are no enemies in the sky. In battle scenes, you can attack fellow party members, hit sleeping ones to wake them. From level 20 on, you can change party members' classes. Be careful, though. They lose abilities and items when they change." No, they just lose abilities. They don't lose their items. So they're going to talk a little bit about Dragon Warrior 2. If you don't want the second quest to drag on, these tips will help you out. Find the key items so you can get started on Dragon Warrior 3. You'll still have to raise your levels in battle by fighting foes. Sunken Treasure, the World Tree, Mysterious Zahan, the Golden Key, Jailer's Key, Hiding of Rogue Fastfinger, the Making of the Water Flying Clothes, Staff of Thunder, the Tower of the Moon, Sea Cave and Monolith Island, Entrance to Rhone. Sorry. I need a moment. Okay. Erdrick Stuff, The Secret of Hargon's Castle, Sword of Destruction, the 5 crests you need: Star Crest, Fire Crest, Moon Crest, and Water Crest and Life Crest. You take them to Rubus. He gives you the charm of Rubris. Here we go. Dragon Warrior 3 Adventure's Guide. Following in his father's footsteps, the brave son of Ortega is committed to finding and destroying the archfiend Baramos. His journey will take him to the reaches of the known world and beyond. Join him as he recruits a party in Alahan. Here's the world. They have a little pie chart here with the stats on each class. You have a hero, which you can't make anybody else a hero. You have a soldier, fighter, priest, wizard, merchant, and goof-off. Drag on. Nice and pun, Nintendo. Very nice indeed. What happened? What's wrong, Lemon? What happened? Your adventure begins in Alahan. Begin by recruiting a party. To decide who to include by checking the chart and accessing potential members, divulge strengths and weaknesses, equip them with weapons, then set out to find the Thieves' Key. Talk to everyone you meet, and remember, the people sometimes change their messages after dark. The magic ball opens the door to go to Reeve and use the Thieves' Key to find the man who can make one. Use the magic ball in the Cave of Enticement. Wake up no owls. Angry elves cast a sleeping spell on the town. To wake them up, you have to go and get the Dream Ruby, give it back to them, and they'll give you the powder. Poison Needle. Pick up the Poison Needle, return to Kneve at night, and enter the item shop at the rear exit to steal it from his treasure chest. Quest for the Golden Crown. Your buddy Kandar. You have to fight him twice, I think. Kingdom of Romilly won't consider you a real hero unless you retrieve the Golden Crown, which was stolen by Kandar, the thief, fled to the Tower of Champagne. But don't follow until you have reached level 14 or 15. He waits at the top, and you will have to fight as you climb. When you conquer him, he'll leave you a treasure chest containing the crown. You love Brazil in this game? That's right here. That was Samanoa, right? Samanoa? Samanoa? Explore the Great Pyramid. This is by far the hardest part, I think, in the game. The pyramid. For me, anyway. The last playthrough I did. Open the sealed wall in the pyramid. Open the locked doors. And once you get the key, magic key in the pyramid, you can go to Isis, Alahan, and open these locked doors. The quest of the spice. To get to the east, you have to get the spice and come back and give it to the Portoga. And he will give you a ship. You kidnap a couple of weights. Trade your pepper for a ship. Search for the final key. Buy the invisibility herb so you can enter Endor. Solve the puzzle in Endor's basement to get the Vase of Drought. Use the Vase of Drought at the shoals of the shrine. Will rise and surround the house to the final key. And here are the travel gates. A lot more travel gates. So I wish Dragon Quest XI had more travel gates. There's only one travel gate in Dragon Quest XI. Look at the travel gates in this one. Lots of travel gates. Just grind enough. That's basically, yeah, Dragon Quest grind. It's as easy as you may want to make it. Changing classes at level 20. 2 ways to become a sage. Yeah. So, yeah, one way is you find a book in the tower, or you can level a goof off to level 20. Challenge Orky. Help build a new town. Find important items in Tadinki. The Red Orb is in the Pirate's Place. The Echoing Flute. The World Tree, where you can get a leaf. You can only carry one at a time still. Test your courage in Gaia's navel. Find the mirror image. It's the Mirror of Ra. The travel door, I don't remember this. The travel door in the shrine south of Greenland leads to the castle of Samanoa. The King's Guard, oh yeah, okay. Mirror of Ra, that's in that one's cave, okay. With the little breadcrumbs leading up to the mimics. Use the mirror in the King of Samano, which is the king in Brazil, right? And you beat the Troll King. Staff of Change, so you can buy from the elves. Story of Olivia and Simon, you need to get the bone, to get the locket, the ghost ship, to get the locket, to give to Olivia, who lets you through the pass. Then you can go to the cave and get the Sword of Gaia, to toss into the volcano, to make the way to Baramos' castle. The bridge to Necrogons. Collect valuables at the cave. Archfiend Baramos. Get the last orbs. Go get Ramia. Get the dragon orb from the dragon lady who dies. Tips for gaining experience. Mirror of Ra was in Brazil. Yep. Okay, thank you, Richard. I loved all countries that got to be in Dragon. Yeah, it represented like the world very well. At least they didn't spoil the Dark World. Well, we're not getting there quite yet. They kind of don't look here yet. Don't look at this page yet, Lemon. Okay, they spoiled it. Too late. Sphere of Light. To get the Sphere of Light, you must return to the overworld, fly on Ramia to the Dragon Queen's castle, which is blocked by the mountains, and that's how you get it. Enter another world. To find the Master Archfiend Zoma, you have to travel to his territory, a featured dark place. You may have to search all over the world to find its entrance. It is on an island that was previously empty, except for a strange-looking pit. When you return, you will see a black pit. If you play Dragon Warrior in Dragon Warrior 2, you'll be familiar with this new world. Here's the Dark World. The Sword of Kings. Get the Orca. That's how you make the Erdrick Sword, or the Sword of Heroes. You need the Sword of Kings with the Sword of... No, The Mighty Sword of Kings, which was made by Orcon. So you get the Orcon in here and give it to the guy in Jinpeng, and I think or the guy, and he'll make you the sword. Or the blacksmith who used to be in Jinpeng. Shield of Heroes in the cave of the one cave in Dark World where you can't use magic. Treasure hunting, rescue Rubus. Free Rubus the Spirit by using the flute. The Armor of Radiance. You have to start on those little switches, those little floor tiles. Find the fairy flute. What's different about days in Alfgard? Day and night differences. Build the rainbow bridge. You have to basically do a Dragon Warrior 1 run through to get the rainbow bridge. It's time to tackle the Master Archfiend Danos. Use the rainbow drop. You no longer have Ramia to take you to the Zoma's remote castle, so you'll have to build a bridge in order to reach it. In this case, you're building a rainbow bridge with the rainbow drop, which has 3 important ingredients: the Stones of Sunlight, the Staff of Rain, and the Sacred Amulet. Use the rainbow drop in the northwest of Rimulard, but first, fill your HP and MP to the max. Don't expect to get there all the way through the castle in one trip. It's a very long journey with many frustrating twists and turns. Save your MP as long as possible, and use the Sage's Stone when necessary. If you have it, return to Rimulard. Return to Rimulard to replenish your HP and MP when they're low. You'll need the strength when you meet Zoma. Find the hidden stairway, up and down, round and round. It's Ortega. In this 5th basement, you'll come upon something from fighting a monster. It's Ortega. He fights valiantly, but at last loses. At last, you know what his unfortunate fate is. Zoma, the ultimate challenge. In the 6th basement stands Zoma, flanked by 3 bodyguards: King Hydra, Baramus Bomus, and Baramus Gomus. It is wise to put Zoma to sleep and get rid of his henchmen before taking him on. Well, you have to get rid of his henchmen. When down to you and Zoma, begin by using the Sphere of Light, which reduces his HP by 1/2. You will find that attack spells are wasted on him, but healing spells actually damage him. Use healing spells on yourself to keep your energy up and fight to the ultimate victory. I did not know healing spells hurt him. Did they really hurt him? The Thankful King bestows your new name, Erdrick, and declares you a legend, never to be forgotten. So, that's a big spoiler right there. But that's okay. So, I mean, it could be worse. They could have spoiled more. I mean, they kind of left it open. I mean, that was basically the whole game they went through right there in brief cliff notes form. Malroth greater than Zoma. I hate Malroth. He has full heal. He can burn in a fire. You remember when I fought him? He full healed himself. I had to fight him 3 times. He full healed himself like 8 times per battle before I could finally beat him. For that, I hate Malroth. Sage's Stone is one of my favorite DQ items. I love the Sage's Stone too. So useful. One of the most useful items. NES Achievers. They spoiled the whole thing. How could it be worse? Well, I mean, they could have said that... Okay, they kind of did spoil the whole thing. Okay. My mistake. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, they spoiled the whole thing. Yeah. How do I get through the cave to Roan? This right here. The passage through the tunnels to the top of Roan Plateau is one of the most challenging areas of Dragon Warrior 2. It is here that you find the Sword of Thunder, and along with it are minions of monsters trying to keep you from using it. You will also find pitfalls and endless hallways that loop on themselves. Even the strongest warrior won't last long if he doesn't find the correct path quickly. The map shown here will give you the edge to steal through the catacombs and reach Hargon's castle in Rome. Ugh. Shelley Collett, another female gameplay counselor. Hobbies. Golf, video games. Best accomplishment, finished Air Fortress in 1 hour. That's a tough game. Favorite game, Destiny of an Emperor. Lots of Destiny of an Emperor fans. Hobbies. Lewin Graham. Hobbies. Aardvarks and computers. Best accomplishment, finished Nobunaga's Ambition. Favorite game, Final Fantasy Legend. Jason Gamage. Now that's some 90s feathered hair right there. Hobbies, No Mercy football, Gorilla basketball, Full Combat baseball, and ballet. Best accomplishments, finished Street Fighter 2010 with 1 man. That's impressive. Favorite game, Heavy Shreddin', and Friday the 13th because his name is Jason. Oh, there you go. Jane Hacker, another female gameplay counselor. Hobbies, music, karate, skiing. Best accomplishment, beat Strider in 45 minutes. I like Strider NES. Favorite game, Richard? Favorite game, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. I think I'm in love with her. Wonder if she's still single. Ultima, Quest of the Avatar. Lots of tips for these. Battletoads. How do I get past the snakes? Lots of tips for Ultima Quest of the Avatar. Darkman, based on the Liam Neeson movie. I've never seen the movie or played the game. No one is perfect. Oof. So another poster I ripped out. I don't know where it's at. So, Game Boy games. Mega Man, Wily's Revenge, Final Fantasy Legend 2, and Days of Thunder. Mega Man, Wily's Revenge. Pretty good 2 pages. Oh, big review on Wily's Revenge. Looks like Fry Guy from Super Mario Bros. 2. When he splits up, when you poop him out and he spits into like 5 other little Fry Guys. Final Fantasy Legend 2. So I think this is the one where you're in a giant, like, statue, because you see his hands, his feet. And there's, like, towns in this place. In a Giant's World, 3. Magi. Key's Body, 7 Magi. Apollo's World, 10 Magi. This is a big game. I've never played a Final Fantasy Legend game. I have one. I should try it out. It looks interesting. Why did they need to call everything Final Fantasy? I think for marketing, people over here knew the Final Fantasy name. I know these are Saga games, but I think they wanted it to sell better, so they put the Final Fantasy name on it, I'm guessing. Days of Thunder. Ninja Boy. Now playing. Bill and Ted's Excellent Video Game Adventure. Did not get good reviews. Mid to low 2s and 3s. Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. Crystal Quest. Days of Thunder. Faster Lap. Final Fantasy Legend 2 got good reviews. Clax. Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge. Mustard Do, and The Punisher. Looks like Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge, or Final Fantasy II would be the top Game Boy games there. Coming soon, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Fall of the Foot Clan, sequel to it. It's back in the sewers, I think. Game Boy version of Tecmo Bowl. Top 10, Super Mario Land number 1, TMNT Fall of the Foot Clan number 2, Final Fantasy Legend number 3, Dr. Mario, Tetris F1 Race, Operation C, Castlevania The Adventure, Mega Man, and Dr. Wily's Revenge, and Batman number 10. So I guess they want you to draw in here and send it in for a chance to win. It's a contest. You can draw on this Game Boy, send it in, and I guess they send your template to the address below. And Nintendo Power did make templates in their magazine where you could, like stickers, you could put them on your Game Boy. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Super NES Preview, the next generation is coming. A host of hot games is lined up and waiting. Even before the Super NES arrives in the US, several titles will be released as soon as the system becomes available, and many more will be released shortly after. This month, we're giving you a quick look at just what the Super NES is capable of and previewing 3 surefire hits. You'll be amazed. This month's lineup: Super Mario World, Gradius 3, and ActRaiser. The Super Mario series just keeps getting bigger and better. When Mario and Luigi first appeared in the original Super Mario Bros. Back in 1985, they were instantly hits. Over the years, their popularity has continued to grow in subsequent hits, Super Mario Bros. 2 and 3. Players can't get enough of the feisty pair of plumbers. The duo continues to break new grounds in the latest Mario adventure, Super Mario World. Included with the NES when it was first released, Super Mario Bros. Was the pair's first search for the princess. Battling Wart, Super Mario Bros. 2. Battling Wart, Mario and Luigi, joined by Toad and the princess in Subcon, the dreamlike world of Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros. 3. In the third game of the series, the Marios don different identities to fly, swim, hammer, and sizzle. He has more moves than ever before. Steal ideas from your customers. That's what they should call it. So yeah, they must have used those ideas for the stick-on stickers for later that they used for the Game Boy. They put in here. The Super NES makes a huge Super Mario World possible. Daring and varied destinations. When you take a closer look beyond the expansive overworld, you'll find crazy characters, secret sites, and maps. Filled with all new creatures and locations, Mario's latest adventure is gigantic. Wait until you see what he can do. It's tough to keep track of all the troublemakers. They're funny, friendly, but full of mischief. They make Mario's life miserable. The moves for all new stages. The capabilities of the Super NES made it possible to create a huge variety of stages. You'll have to learn special techniques to handle all sorts of stages. Save date. The battery backup lets you save stages and start where you left off. Don't start from scratch every time. You can avoid endless repetition of early stages by saving your progress and restarting at points later in the game. Super sensitive controls. Once you get used to the Super NES controller, you'll appreciate their added buttons. Thanks to the new controller, play action is more lifelike than ever. The extra buttons allow Mario to perform some startling new stunts. The Super NES makes Super Mario World super duper. Ghost houses, ghouls come to life. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Super Mario. The cape. Meet Mario's new pal Yoshi. The programmers of Super Mario World have hatched a new friend for Mario. And he's the hungriest little dino you'll ever see. Lucky for Mario, he has a fondness for enemies. When the egg hatches, jump aboard and give your dogs a rest. There are so many different stages in Super Mario World. Above ground, below ground, you'll never know what to expect next. The save feature makes it possible for players of all abilities to complete the game. Revolving panels have Mario spinning his wheels. By using multiple frames that result in an animation effect, programmers have created amazing dimensions graphics such as the fence and cloud scenes. Special stages that are bonus bananas let you bank coins, flowers, and one-ups. When you find the right pipes, it's worth your time to take a detour. Hidden in some secret spots, you can also find dino eggs and floating feathers. If your kid self took a peek into the future and saw what the Switch is capable of, do you think he would think... What do you think he would think? Oh, well... I'd be amazed, I think, because back then I never wanted a Game Boy because it was black and white, because I was a stupid kid and I wanted like my games to be like console games. But later on I appreciated the Game Boy in the 2000s when I had a Game Boy Advance. I appreciated it. But I think my kid self, if he would have seen the Switch, would have appreciated it a lot and be amazed, because these games are console games that you can play on a handheld, like anywhere, and they have like the online feature where you can play SNES games, and you can download games. You don't need the cartridge, and they're all on a little memory card. Like I can't explain to you how amazed I would have been. Is that a black Yoshi? No, I don't see a black Yoshi. The Game Boy was not black and white, it was green. Yes, you know what I meant, Lemon. You know what I meant. Green and dark, yeah, it was green, you're right. But every time I play it, technically for me it's black and white, because I always play Game Boy games on the Super Game Boy, and I set the palette to be black and white, or sometimes green and yellow, or whatever, green and dark green. But yes, you are correct. It was really dark green and other greens. Shades of green, basically. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, that Yoshi's not black, he's green. Hey ho, Yoshi! And away we go. There's a huge world out there to conquer, and we're just the duo to do it all. Please don't jump off my back and kill me, Mario. I will appreciate it very much. That's what it said. So we have Gradius 3. The one on the left. This one? On my left? This one. No, that's not a black Yoshi. That's a green one. Oh, it does look black in the preview window. I'm looking at it now. That is not. That's green. It's just the color of my camera makes it look black. Yeah, this one's green. I'm pointing to. Yeah, it's the lighting. It does look black. When I'm looking in the YouTube window, it looks black. You're right. Kid Brian, appreciating the Yoshi artwork and thinking 100 ways to murder it. But to be honest, I didn't know you could murder Yoshi in these screenshots, because it was not... So you're thinking, you're making me sound psychotic. Like I would actually want to kill Yoshi without knowing that you could. Like you're making it like I want to kill Yoshi all the time I see a Yoshi. We're gonna play through Yoshi's Island, and I'm not gonna kill Yoshi. Gradius 3. Even before you strap yourself in for a battle between the stars, Gradius 3 is out to blow your mind with an animated sequence of your Vic Viper spacecraft launching from the bay of the mothership. Classy touches like this are found throughout the game. I've never played this. I did hear the soundtrack and it's outstanding. So The Legend of Gradius, you had Gradius on the NES, Life Force on the NES, and Gradius 3. I remember someone said, it will be hard, but I need to end a level without killing a Yoshi. Oh, wait, I did say that, didn't I? That was just a joke, though. I was just joking. I didn't say that. Or if I did, I was joking. I wasn't serious. Gradius 3. ActRaiser. Here's the game I was really looking forward to. 4 megabits, battery backup adventure, raise your sword, and free a mystical land. This fall, the creators of the Dragon Warrior series, that's not true at all. They're the publishers of the Dragon Warrior series. Quintet developed it. Unveil an adventure so magnificent that only the Super NES could present it. An ancient land has been invaded by mythical monsters. It's your duty to descend upon the land, cast away the creatures in action-packed style, and teach the inhabitants to fend for themselves. Virtually every Super NES special effects used in the fullest in this epic and cinematic soundtrack will blow you away. The multiple backgrounds, scrolling, rotation, and scrolling effects made possible by Super NES make the Enix's ActRaiser adventure one of the most epic scale and magnificent. Conquer and rebuild, creation mode, action mode. By advancing the experience, you will gain valuable hit points. Yes, I bet Yoshi didn't get the joke. Oh, gee, ooh, sheesh. Brutal. We all have our faults, people. I'm sure you're not perfect, too. You guys aren't perfect. I'm not perfect. The land is vast. There's the whole world. Lead the people, freedom in creation mode. So you have to create, you have to clear the land of monsters by one action scene, go down and clear the gates. Then another action scene opens up, and you do that, and you free the land. And you got rinse and repeat for about 8 times, I think. Strike down the monsters in action mode. Use magic wisely. 4 different types of magic spells. Battle rages on. There are 6 enemies infested areas to clear, with 13 brilliant action sections. To that, in an epic soundtrack, you got a winner. Still a Bill and Ted Bogus Journey contest. You can win the game pack. Almost the perfect man, just a few flaws like killing Yoshi's and liking Luigi, Zelda 2, and other M, but no one can be perfect, right? Well, I think... So what would you say is the worst out of all those, then, of my flaws? Super Jeopardy, Triumph, Captain Planet, Triumph looks interesting. It's like chess. Where's Waldo? Liking oh, sheesh, even over killing Yoshi's. Other M's not bad. It's fine. A perfectly fine game. It has problems more than other Metroids, but it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. There's tons of worse games. If Other M's the worst game you ever played, you're doing pretty good. So, coming out, Captain Planet, Darkman, Dragon Warrior 2, Well, that's been out. Dragon Warrior 3, Ninja Gaiden 3. I wonder why they put Dragon Warrior 2 in there. Oh well. Rainbow Island, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, Sesame Street ABC 1, 2, 3, Super Jeopardy, Triumph, and Where's Waldo, the best game on here that is rated by. Ninja Gaiden 3 is high marks. Dragon Warrior 3, pretty good. So Ninja Gaiden 3 is the one they rank the highest. World of Nintendo, Nintendo Adventure Books, Super Mario Brothers and Friends Crayon Book, Game Sounds, that's like headphones. You could put like a thing on the side of your NES, or it plugs into your sound cables, and you can, I guess, listen to it wirelessly? Listen to the sound of your NES games privately with the game sound transmitter and receiver. Oh, it transmits wirelessly over to your earphones. Interesting. Super Mario Brothers Print World. Make signs and announcements with the help of the Super Mario Brothers and their Mushroom Kingdom cohorts by using the Super Mario Brothers Print World personal computer program from High Tech Expressions. It's available from IBM compatible computers and Commodore 64 and Apple. Top 30, here we go. So look for red, that's new. Blue is common, they've been on for a while, and green is games that are rising. Or no, games that have appeared between 2 and 9 times are green. There are no, they took the rising ones away. At least dinosaurs are extinct, liking Zelda 2 and Luigi. I can see that even crap has some appeal, but Other M, there is no excuse for that. Other M's not that bad. It's not that bad. Really, I promise you. It has problems for sure, and I don't like some of it, but overall it was enjoyable. I didn't like put it down and not finish it, which I could have did. Mario Brothers 3, number 1, TMNT, the arcade game. Those are the same from last issue. Mega Man 3 moved up to number 3. Final Fantasy is still up there. Dragon Warrior 2 is still in there. Tetris, Crystalis. Bart Simpson versus the Space Mutants is dropping down. Finally. Star Tropics, Dr. Mario. Mario Brothers 2, Double Dragon 3, Mega Man 2, Ultima Quest of the Avatar, Dracula's Curse. It's kind of low for Dracula's Curse. Maniac Mansion, Wizardry, Destiny of Emperor, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Legend of Zelda, Double Dragon. We have a newcomer at number 22. Monopoly busts into the top 30. The Immortal Dragon Warrior is still up there. Zelda 2 at number 25. Titles that have made the top 30 10 times or more. Zelda 2. Congratulations. Dick Tracy is a newcomer, number 26. Solstice, Bases Loaded, Ducktales at 29, and Little Nemo the Dream Master at number 30. It's even worse. Oh, come on, Lemon. It's not that bad. You're judging it by the story. The story, I don't mind. It's the gameplay problems I have with it, with the pixel hunts and the lack of exploration at the beginning. And not being able to refill your health any other way than like holding up the Wii remote. Your health and missiles, I don't like that either. Those are the bigger problems, I think. Zelda 2's development team. Is that a monkey? Are you saying they're monkeys? Let's see. Macaulay Culkin, never heard of him. He was in a little movie called Home Alone. I think you've heard of him. Bioforce 8 never came out. You can play a ROM of this. I think now it's released online. You can play it. And that you can only shoot... Yeah, that was terrible. Terrible. I hated that, Lemon. That was so dumb. No, the story and gameplay I can forgive. It's the gameplay stuff that Lemon mentioned, with the standing still to shoot missiles. The pixel hunt stuffs were the worst. And having to stand still to refill your health and missiles. That was the bad thing. Otherwise, I like the graphics. I like the look of it. It sounds good. It plays well, except for those few things I mentioned. It still feels like Metroid, but not as explorative as the other Metroids. It's fine. It's okay. It's not terrible. I think there's an over hyperbole that says the game's terrible just based on the story, which is bad. I mean, I guess, yeah, I can see if you're going on story, but it's a little over exaggerated. No, yeah, you have to use the. I didn't mind that. I didn't mind using the butter stick control thing, the Wii remote. Nightshade, Kickmaster, made by Kid, fun game. I didn't mind moving with the control pad in 2D, but I didn't like holding the remote to use the missiles like that. I didn't like that. Super Electronics Show from CS, and we've had a chance to collect our note, and came a big surprise where it's got good games on display. 3 Nintendo systems, Super Nintendo and Game Boy. So here's a whole bunch of games coming out. The games of Nintendo Power picked Best of CES for NES were Battletoads, Dr. Mario, Mega Man 3, Super Mario Bros. 3, TMNT, the arcade game. Of all these titles, Battletoads generated the most excitement, probably. American Gladiators, Laser, and Gemini, I used to watch American Gladiators, were on hands-on to promote game techs of American Gladiators for the NES. Because it had been released at the time of the show, Trade West did a great job with their rash costume, which was often seen walking through the show. Games based on characters licensed were plentiful, but several stood out. Batman Return of the Joker, Sunsoft follows the comic book Batman more closely than the movie version. The NES Batman is almost twice as tall as the first one and goes back to wearing the standard blue and gray costume. Taito developed a Flintstone game that is based on side-scrolling action title, but the Fred character looks good, and the Bedrock-style backgrounds are well done. High-tech expressions Tom and Jerry. I played a little of that. I want to like that game, but it's hard to find out where to go in that game. The level designs so maze-like. You end up dying before you get anywhere. Super Nintendo. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, was launched in style at the CES with 6 gigantic monitors with super sound system plugged into the Nintendo Power's best of the CES games choices were the central attractions. The Nintendo booth, the featured titles include ActRaiser, F-Zero, Gradius 3, Pilot Wings, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario World, Super R-Type, and Castlevania 4. Of the other 40-plus Super Nintendo's Super NES works in progress, several showed promise. Draken Kenko Seika should be a hit in the RPG scene. It's a first-person perspective adventure that lets you go in any direction with smooth scrolling. American Sammy announced it would bring Wanderers from Ease. That's a fun game. Wanderers from Ease 3 it's a fun game. It's a hit PC RPG from Japan to the Super NES. Equinox, Sony Imisoft's sequel to Solstice, accomplishes some great 3D effects using the SNES technology. Super Battle Tanks, Absolute, and Super WrestleMania. I was so disappointed in Super WrestleMania. I wanted that game so bad, and I got it, and I was so disappointed. All the moves were the same. It looked great, but every player, it just played the same. Very cool, colorful, realistic screens. Game Boy, no one left out the Game Boy. Disney, Castlevania, Belmont's Revenge. Lunar Chase, Mega Man, Dr. Wily's Revenge. Metroid 2, Return of Samus, here it is. Super Mario Land and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Castlevania 2 impressions on the first Game Boy Castlevania with better graphics and play control. Lunar Chase. Created a first-person game with real-world feel. Metroid 2 for the Game Boy is the long-awaited sequel to the NES title. Samus must explore extensive caverns and mazes to destroy SR-388, the Metroid's homeworld. TMNT 2 for the Game Boy also updates the original with 6 new levels of action. Nintendo Power's best of the CS weren't the only stars of the show. Game Boy Battletoads, good as the NES version. Adventure Island. NES hits Adventure Island. Adventure Island, Hudson, Double Dragon 2, Acclaim. Will also make Game Boy appearances soon. Hutchpack, a new movie game from the Ocean Stars. Medieval Bell Toller with a sense of humor. It's Howard Phillips, pimping out Defenders of Dynatron City. Let's see what we got here. Really, if it weren't for that, you would be perfect bachelor, but liking other M is unforgivable. Is that what that means? Look, Other M is not my favorite Metroid game, not by a long shot. It has the most problems of other Metroid games, for sure. But I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it reviewed fairly well. I mean, if you look at the reviews for it, it's fairly well reviewed. 7s maybe 8s. Need to play Metroid Prime now. Are we? So you need to make a Metroid Prime to get the stink of Other M off of your mind? Is that what you mean? Look at this, guys. Development dispatch. Things heating up for the Super NES. The system release draws near. Games of all kinds are planned. As you know it, if you're our 16-bit software preview last issue, it looks like one of the system's initial strengths may be fantasy adventure games. Here's a look at 3 that are guaranteed hits. Zelda 3. While Nintendo Company Limited is being extremely secretive about the 3rd game in its famous Zelda series, we have heard that it should be completed by August, with a scheduled release date, winter 1991. From what we've seen of Zelda 3, we all can say it looks awesome. The gameplay viewpoint harkens back to the original Legend of Zelda, but has 16-bit graphics, which allow for larger characters and enemies, as well as greater depth and realism. 16-bit scaling technology is used to zoom in and out of the overworld. The story behind Zelda 3 links with the past in that the hero is an ancestor of Link, also named Link, and the main maiden he must rescue is an ancestor of Zelda. Not only are the objects in the world huge, but the world itself is gigantic, with many items to find, people to talk to, and secrets to discover. Link has more amazing abilities than he had in the other Zelda game, and the plot and story are also involved. Be sure to tune in to Nintendo Power for the inside scoop on this super game. Yes, you're like, yes, that's why I need to play Metroid Prime now. They are low-key acknowledged. They never acknowledged Zelda 2 sucks. They did not know such thing. I would like to see Nintendo make another side-scrolling Zelda and correct some faults of Zelda 2, because it has problems for sure, but I do like Zelda 2. If they could, imagine if they took that RPG-ish side-scrolling Zelda 2 and they perfected it like they did Zelda. I mean, I think they could make a great Zelda 2-like game. We've seen only Castlevania 4. We've seen only early versions of Castlevania 4, but it looks very, very good. Maybe we're getting used to it, but the Castlevania gameplay control in the 4th installment seems to be the best yet. The hero, we're not sure if it's Simon, Trevor, or another Belmont, also has a few new whip-cracking moves, including the ability to whip up, down, and to swing across gaps using whip, a la Indiana Jones. The graphics are detailed and really give a gothic feel to the game's eerie setting. This is another one to be on the lookout for. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. So far, there's no shortage of challenge in the various Super Famicom titles. We've seen Darius Twin and Gradius come to mind as real tests. From playing the Japanese version of Super Ghouls and Ghosts, we can say that this looks like the most challenging 16-bit game yet. After a long absence, Arthur returns for more battles with the force of evil. His foes, zombies, magic users, and of course ghouls and ghosts are all portrayed in this super naturally good graphics. This isn't a game for the weak of heart and easily frustrated. Classic Lore, The Empire Strikes Back, Overlord, Die Hard, Barbie. Nothing new here. Coming soon, we have ActRaiser, Castlevania 3, Caveman Ninjas, aka Joe and Mac, Darius Twin, Draken, F-Zero, Final Fight, Gradius 3, John Madden Football, PGA Tour, Pilot Wings, Populous, SimCity, Super Bases Loaded, Super Mario World, Super R-Type, Super Play Action Football, and UN Squadron. There are a lot of good games in there. Here we have an ad for if you have problem with maintaining your system. For example, blank or solid screen, they tell you problems here you can do to fix it, or you can call the gameplay hotline. Power light picture is fine. Can't really see it. Let me zoom out so you can see it. It's a little 2-page spread about how to troubleshoot your Game Boy or NES if something goes wrong. Blinking light power. Game pack not inserted properly. Dirty connectors. Push game packing completely into the control deck and press down. NES cleaning kit needed to clean the control deck and game pack edge. If cleaning does not solve the problem, visit your nearest authorized service center for free product testing or call 1-800-255-3700. I think that number is still in service, actually.
Hi, thank you for calling Nintendo. Let's connect you to a specialist quickly. Let's get started.
Para asistencia en español.
Yeah, it's still their Nintendo number. I don't think they take Game Boy or NES fixes, though. So that's pretty neat. I like that. Dear reader, I bet everyone has aspired to work on game development, and I'm sure it would come as no surprise to you that editors of Nintendo Power share the dream. But there's a lot more to making a game than just coming up with the idea, as I found out when I visited the Nintendo Company Limited headquarters in Kyoto, Japan. Oh, that's Dan Osen. Wow, he's a lot younger then. The purpose of my visit was to learn the ropes as a communications liaison between Nintendo of America, Nintendo Company Limited, and outside development. Although this wasn't really game design, it was about as close as you can get. Working in the inner sanctum of NCL R&D, I got a chance to see a few top secret products that generally public won't know about for months. As a matter of fact, secrecy is so important, even the different R&D groups within Nintendo don't even know what the others are working on. Plans are for me to go back this fall to work further with the development teams on games for the Super Famicom and Super NES. I'll be sure to keep you all posted, that is, if the projects aren't top secret. So there he is, lucky guy, got to go into NC. How many Americans or English people or Western people can say they actually got to go in deep into Nintendo of Japan and see development in action? Wonder what that was like. I'd like to talk to him about that. So next month we have Super Games, Super Features, a great lineup of more Super NES games. Great lineup of Super NES titles, ready and waiting for the system's arrival next month. Get better look at games such as Super Mario World, Castlevania 4, Final Fight, and SimCity, Star Wars for the NES, Smash TV for the NES, Final Fantasy Adventure, Seikaido Setsu for the Game Boy. With play that is similar to The Legend of Zelda for the NES, this epic Game Boy adventure will require dexterity as you explore many worlds. You must wield your sword with finesse and escape enemy fire. This is one that Monster had as a kid. Final Fantasy Adventure. And that's it. That is Nintendo Power Volume 27 for August 1991. Look at some Super Nintendo games coming up. A Link to the Past, Return to Zelda 1 style over 2. They didn't acknowledge it sucks. They just went back to that style. I love Sekida Sensu. Yeah. I played through it. It was pretty fun. You can get stuck in it if the enemies don't drop the matics or stuff you need. But did you have Sekida Sensu? Did you have Final Fantasy Adventure, Lemon? It was fun trashing Zelda 2 and Other M with you. Well, I appreciate it as always. We may disagree on stuff, and that's fine. You did. Okay. Well, that's next month's issue. So I hope you stop by for that one. Let me see if I see the... Oh, that's a classic issue. You'll like this one. I remember this issue. Super Mario World on the front. Okay. Lemon, Richard... Thanks for stopping by and keeping me entertained for this 3.5 hours of trip down memory lane for me. Ninja, thank you. I think also, who else stopped in here? GameWired stopped in for a little bit. A Toilet Nugget stopped in, thank you. Thank you all. And good night.